Yo, what's up, everyone? And grab your Wii remote condom and let's get going. Because this, and this auspicious occasion, 1 week from Sonic Frontiers, a game around 5 years in the making, and hotly anticipated, we're gonna head back to Sonic Colors from 2010. I'm gonna be playing the original version because that's what I have. I unfortunately do not have Ultimate, or maybe fortunately, considering some of the things I've heard about it.
Sega.
It's so. Might as well sit back and watch the intro. Pretty sure this might actually be the last time a Sonic game had like an extended CG intro until I think, until Frontiers, which seemed to have one. I guess an extended animated intro in general, other than Mania, which had that 2D one that was really nice. With this energetic song by Cash Cash, I believe. Yeah. Here we go. Sonic Colors. We're gonna start up a new game here, and you'll probably notice something as soon as I start a new game. First off, we'll turn off the navigator because I don't like being talked at too much. You'll notice we are starting right fucking now. Oh, this was kind of a thing this game did. By the way, I'm playing with no graphics modifications whatsoever. Original chunky-ass Wii resolution, original 30 frames per second frame rate. This is as classic as it gets. Oh, jeez. I'm getting that red ring. Like, it won't matter too much because I definitely can't get them all until I unlock some other power-ups, but I still want to do it, jeez. So, I think what we could use about 12 years past this game, come on, really? There we go, is a little history lesson on what was going on back in 2010 when this game hit. This game came around probably in November, like definitely later in the year. November is the usual time for a new 3D Sonic game of 2010. So, Sonic was in an odd spot at that time. Obviously, the shadow of that one game back in 2006 was still hovering over the franchise. And since then, its big 3D entry that included Unleashed, a game that showed lots of promise but also bogged itself down with, with the strange gameplay shift to a tedious beat 'em up. And after that came 2009 Sonic and the Black Knight, which, look, a lot of people express love for that game. It does do some cool things, like story-wise and characterization. It's not fun to play. We gotta stop pretending it was fun to play. It's a pain in the ass. And it's weird, and it's a game where it's weirdly difficult to actually use the motion controls. So that's an issue. At any rate, as I said, Sonic was in a bit of a spot. So, Sega, hearing the criticisms over the past decade or so of 3D Sonic, they decided that in 2010, they would release a game that would bring the franchise back to where it belonged. Back to its roots. Back to what people truly loved about it. And that game was Sonic 4 Episode 1. So after a teaser where, after a lengthy teaser sequence where, Sega made a big deal of Sonic being the only playable character, which, I don't know, seems like a bit of overkill, considering a bit of overkill switching from the larger cast of some games, but it was probably better than a bunch of half-baked gameplay styles or something? I don't know. Let's not overthink it too much. So, Sonic 4 Episode 1 was announced, and, anticipation went up, and then it went down when the entire game leaked. Somehow. And footage of it came out, and it was not looking good. It was looking very cheap. And, and had some awful motion control based gimmicks, obviously made for the mobile version of the game, and almost implying that that was the primary target for the game. So after that leak, the game actually got delayed some, and those motion controlled levels were reworked to be removed from every version of the game except for the mobile version. Most of the other issues with control and the crappy sounding music and the general, whole tedium of the whole thing, those remained. So, it's summer of 2010, and Sonic 4 is having its issues. It does eventually come out around that time, if I remember properly. But also that year, Sega announces another Sonic game for the year. Here shows up at E3 and the usual circuit. And that is Sonic Colors. It was 2010, actually. Did I say 12? I'm pretty sure I said 10. Unless 2012 was 4 Episode 2. I don't remember what Episode 2 came out.
Everyone and their brother is gonna want to come here.
No doubt. But now I'm not sure why we're here. This place looks totally harmless.
Because Eggman plus secretly built amusement park equals evil plot for us to foil. Lucky for us, he's not very good at keeping things hidden.
True. It would be pretty hard to miss a giant floating space amusement park surrounded by planets. Still, an evil plot? I don't know.
Wow! Plot or not, can't be mad at this view. This place has taken beauty to the next level. I'm just surprised that it was so easy to sneak in here.
I wouldn't say it was that easy.
Hello, happy people. Buckle up as Eggman's ultra-accelerating space elevator.
I'm letting the cutscene play out, but there's a bit to talk about with this as well, I think.
I can't believe somebody was dumb enough to leave the keys in this thing. It's like Eggman's begging us to sneak in and trash the place.
Oh man, this thing's got crazy fast acceleration.
So now we're getting the plot premise, MS. I don't care that much. So Sega really wanted to get you into the game fast and avoid big dramatic plot setups, because one of the things that was criticized a lot for the 2010s were the big dramatic plots for early games that started with Sonic Adventure, with apocalypse prophecies and government conspiracies. Is a very anime feel to it.
It makes my head feel like it wants to.
Now, a lot of Sonic fans nowadays will tell you that this shift to a more humorous style was a terrible thing that ruined the franchise, which maybe it wasn't the best choice in hindsight. But back when this came out, fans were over the fucking moon. Like they were indeed tired of the kind of stories they're getting in 06 and even Unleashed. They were glad to chill things out a bit. And this game's a bit sillier in tone, a little more straightforward in plot. Sonic's a bit cheesier in his dialogue, which I actually think works. I like Sonic making cheesy jokes because he's just kind of a cheesy guy. It worked for this, I think. And here's our first introduction to what are known as Wisps. It is really funny that you don't get the freaking file select screen until after beating 2 levels. The game has granted me the title of Big the Cat. Who am I to disagree? Is there a big icon? There's not. I'll use Orbot and Cubot. I actually like these little losers. So, anyway, when this game was first revealed, Sega was like, yeah, like, hey, sure, Sonic 4 is for the hardcore fans. This is for, you know, kids who want to get into Sonic, whatever. But it kind of quickly became noted that, this might actually be something to look forward to. Because again, the things about the lighter tone and the focus just on mostly straightforward gameplay. This game does have its fair share of unique gimmicks. Like, it's built off the kind of gameplay that was in Unleashed, but you know, on a Wii, so various things are a bit downsized, like the scale of the levels. Oh, oops, I wanted to hit that. Oh well. So what this game adds instead are wisps, these little alien guys that come in various colors, and get it through Sonic colors, and let you use special powers. At first, of course, hearing about wisps, people were like, "Oh no, another crappy gimmick!" But realizing it was just kind of power-ups, something that let you do different things temporarily, rather than, you know, changing into a completely different video game for 10, 20, 40 minutes straight. People were like, you know, we can handle this, actually. Especially since it called to mind in games like Super Mario Galaxy, which was very well loved. And there's a lot of talk that even then these would be mostly optional. Most levels in this game can be beaten. I pressed the wrong button entirely. Most levels in this game can be beaten entirely without wisps. Yes, there's only a small handful that require them. Which, by the way, they would definitely go back on the next time they brought these things back. But that's a story for another time. Actually, Lost World is probably a story I never want to tell. So, this Sonic game coming right off the heels of Sonic 4 Episode 1, a game maligned by fans and weirdly liked by some critics. I guess they really were just starved for anything they saw as not being 3D Sonic, but come on, like, Dimps had done like 5 better 2D Sonic games than 4 Episode 1 by that point. You can up your standards a little bit, come on. Anyway. So somehow, Sonic Colors became the game to be, and when it came out, it got a mostly positive reception, notably with a dissenting review by one Stephanie Sterling, but that was a silly little thing that happened. Sorry if I'm a little bad at playing and talking here. So, is that Sonic Colors ended up setting up kind of the future of Sonic for a bit, so it seemed. A lighter and sillier one, compared to, compared to what we'd been getting, but the change in tone was, as I said, welcome at the time. Yeah, the DS version required them a bit more. This game does have, like, a small few levels that require them, but it's very rare. It's not the default model. It was more annoying in the section of Lost World that required them, though, but again, that game blows, so... Oh, fuck that up. I'm trying to remember how the hell to play this game. It's been a while, you know? Yeah. Speaking of voices, this was not technically the first Sonic game to star one Roger Craig Smith as the character, who has been voicing him in English to this day. Outside of, obviously, the movies and Sonic Prime. Anyway, technically not the first game, as released exactly 1 week before this game was Sonic Freeriders, a Kinect-based racing game for the Xbox 360. Now, notably, neither of these were our first hearing of Roger as Sonic. No, that ended up being... So there's a amusement park in, I think it's in England, I'd assume so, but I'm not very knowledgeable, called Alton Towers. And it ended up having a Sonic suite, in its resort area, a place you could stay in a Sonic-themed room. And it included some voice clips of Sonic talking. But they were not the voice clips of the Sonic talking we'd heard. No, we had a very different voice. So someone randomly checking into the Sonic suite ended up being our first hearing of Sonic's new voice actor. And I think that's really funny. So, yeah, 2010 was a wild year for Sonic fans. But what we got out of it was, well, a pretty good game, I think. Very good, even. Like, so, here's my thing about Sonic Colors. I have lots of things with Sonic Colors that I would do differently. I sometimes feel like it spends a little too much time being 2D instead of 3D. Things like that. But that's the kind of thing I think about when I'm not playing it. When I'm playing it, I'm just like, haha, we Sonic Colors, because it's a fun game. Tails T. This is one thing that does bug me a bit. Tails was always a smart guy, but they really are leaning into the he's the tech guy situation, which ends up kind of taking over his characterization. So, your reminds me very though.
That was crazy!
Oh, I was reconfiguring my handheld into a translator so I can understand this guy. Did you go somewhere?
Didn't you see? I absorbed those aliens and got powered up with, like, some kind of wild energy. And after a few seconds, they'd pop out of me.
I find that hard to believe.
Okay, seriously? We need to find Eggman and figure out how catching these aliens fits into whatever heinous plan he's hatching.
And wreck
Yeah, generally the Boost games having like 2D and 3D mixed together was something that a lot of people were fine with. At the time, it felt like a good way to kind of, and the way it kind of smoothly shifted between them was always real cool. Well, I still think that's cool, honestly. And like, it's just that a lot of the more complex sections of levels in this game are 2D, and there are smaller acts like the one I just did that are entirely 2D. Usually centered around gimmicks like this. So, there's a funny thing about these like smaller, more gimmicky levels in the game, which is that as you can see, this is just Act 4 of 6 of the zone. You go through all the acts and you fight a boss, etc., etc. But that was different than it was at some point in development. Because earlier on, people have found like file names in the game that suggest that some of the acts, some of the longer ones that mix 2D and 3D, were originally just the only acts of the zone. Like, there was an Act 1 and an Act 2, and some of them were even split into 2 separate acts when earlier on they weren't. Like, there's file names for old Act 1 second half or whatever. So what I can assume is that, like in Sonic Unleashed, these smaller acts were optional, or just bonuses, more or less. Like, maybe you would need to do some of them for progression, but not like all of them in a row. Oh, so at some point they shifted these into kind of the main story and made you do all of them, probably to avoid critics and other people complaining that the game was too short, which is something that basically every Sonic game ever is trying to avoid. And I mean, hey, Sonic Forces did make all the gimmick stages optional, and that game got blamed for got shit on for being 2.5 hours long. It got shit on for other reasons, but maybe that game shows, at least in that respect, that maybe they were right to do this with colors. So how am I gonna handle this? I'll just grab it here. I mean, obviously the latest thing Sonic's doing to make a game that is, not short is just making whole freaking open world areas, so who knows. Yeah, this game isn't super long. I'll probably get through the whole main story in one stream, but it doesn't feel as cut short as Forces. Granted, that's because also the levels are a length that feels like it makes sense. Also, this game has a lot of optional stuff to do. Including a bunch of extra levels entirely, in addition to just finding all the red rings and getting S ranks and stuff. Really? Missed the jump there? The jump didn't jump, as one Raocow once said. Yeah, like, the level length in this game is way better, even if the game length is still super long. Still isn't super. So, okay, let's do that. Yeah. So at any rate, that's Sonic Colors. Like, it's a game that if you listen to Sonic fans, which by the way, I recommend you do not do that. Yes, Sonic has the double jump as a default in Frontiers. As far as I'm aware, all of the movement abilities we've seen, except for like this bounce move that I think you unlock from Amy, from rescuing Amy, they are unlocked by default. So, jump boosting, double jumping, drop dash, and the light speed dash, interestingly, are all default abilities in Frontiers. There's just about everything that you have to unlock as combat abilities. Okay, so some of you have. So, you listen to Sonic fans, this game ruined the series, blah, blah, blah. But that's like... The thing about Sonic is that, because it, like, changes a lot, like, every decade, people who grew up in one decade of it will be suddenly shifted to the next. In the near future, I can guarantee, if and when Sonic Frontiers is successful, well-liked, give it a few years, we'll start seeing people wishing to go back to these lighter days of Sonic Colors. Or is this upbeat and colorful game, so... And the cycle will move on.
23, 24, 25... Ah, not nearly enough aliens!
Want us to get more?
No, I want you to get me a cheeseburger and a shake. That'll be easier. Cheeseburgers don't run as fast as little alien varmints. Idiot, get me more aliens.
Mike Pollock still kills it, of course.
Y'all want fries with that? I reckon that hurt a bit. Wait a minute, I need to go over yonder. Sorry.
By people, I mean Sonic fans.
I'll harness their hyper-go-on power, and then nothing will stop me. I know I say that every time, but this time, really, nothing will stop me. What? Sonic!
Who you calling nothing?
He means since the boss said nothing will stop me, and Sonic here is going to stop him...
This, by the way, is...
Sonic nothing.
Great! I thought nobody would get that.
Fine. You're so smart, robot. You take care of this mess. Release the big boy.
This game is also doing the job of introducing new characters, but unlike previous games where they tended to be, say, a rival to an enemy, these are Eggman's two bumbling robot sidekicks, Orbot and Cubot.
Guess it's
Technically, a sort of prototype of Orbot showed up in Unleashed and East, but this is how this properly characterizes and introduces them. Thanks, Cubot. And some people think that these guys are just kind of goofball nothing. I kind of like them, mostly because I really like the concept that Eggman built two robots to piss him off constantly, just so he had someone to listen to his rambling. The concept of Eggman having a couple of robot sidekicks is not new. Oh, by the way, you can kill bosses really fast in this game. Like, this thing's already dead. Yeah. I think the one thing I like about Orbot and Cubot specifically is the fact that they barely do anything. Like, it's not even like he made them to go do something for him. Hey, my first S rank. And then they just screw up a lot. No, he just made them for him to yell at. And I think that's pretty special. Nice moonwalk, Sonic.
Oh, there you are. Where'd you run off to?
I did a little shopping, grabbed a bite to eat, and trashed a giant killer robot.
Oh, really? And they've got shopping here, too?
This place has everything. Hey, so how's your translator thingy coming along?
I think it's done. It's in binary code, so only...
Binary code. Like, see, this is the kind of cartoon tech nerd we're putting Tails on in this game.
Who are you, and what is happening
Like Sonic.
to people?
Okay, he says his name is Toxalot, and he's from a faraway soda, and where flowers, water...
I do like Sonic and the Wisp imitating each other.
I think your machine machine still has some bugs.
Yeah.
Funnily enough, though he says it's in binary, I believe the texture scrolling on the screen of his little translator is actually in hexadecimal.
Things called
And if you convert it to words with...
no wisps with a W.
Yeah, I'll just stick with aliens if that's okay with everybody.
Yeah, you'll notice... Yeah, this is a time where Sonic begins to lean on the fourth wall a bit. Something that...
Used for their magical powers by an evil man, or to make underwear to be worn by Sally.
So...
Just hear save them over and over.
Honestly, I think part of the problem with Tails' whole deal, besides just the characterization, is that
Couple of interesting places.
is that the thing about trying to make Sonic's friends less annoying by making you not play as them actually backfired, because now it feels like they just sit around and do nothing while Sonic does everything, which is actually more annoying than them getting involved. So,
Think about
whoops.
If you say so.
I'm missing an arm. Have you got an arm?
No, but really, how much can it matter?
I guess it can't matter much.
Yeah, I'm sure that doesn't matter. If anything, I think they find it annoying to play as them when playing as them sucks, but that's kind of a different issue. Anyway, a couple new areas opened up. Yeah, this game does actually let you go through the zones in different orders. There's as it unlocks both of these at once. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start in Starlight Carnival today. I want to pick up this cube over here. Starlight Carnival opens with this very nice setting of just intro, which is... This section is basically just running forward, but it's very pretty, so I like it a lot. Sometimes Sonic can just run for a bit and it's really cool. I think that's fine. This game, by the way, is very good looking for a Wii game. Like, this was a number of years into the Wii's lifespan. Like, Sonic games on the Wii actually looked pretty good from the beginning. Like, Sonic of the Secret Rings is not a bad-looking game at all. Oh, and then followed by Wii Unleashed and Black Knights. This was, like, the fourth major 3D Sonic on the Wii, not counting them also Sega also being involved in the Mario and Sonic at the Olympics Games series. Alright, so we get down here, you do a bit of this. Here's Cube. It's like a P-switch. Who up playing with a cube? So... No, it's fun thinking about these games with, like, my memories of being a Sonic fan at the time when they were new. I feel like a lot of Sonic Discourse does not look back on how things were and just acts like, hey, the way people think about them now is the way they always did. And that's why some stuff ends up getting completely lost. Like, hey, people should talk about stuff like the like Game Boy Advance and DS Sonic games way more, I think. All right. Oh, this is one neat segment that's in colors. These kind of quick step sections where you can slam into these moto bugs. By the way, one great thing about shit, I missed the red ring. Oh well. About Sonic Colors that I really like that it did. See, one thing that people were starting to find a little annoying in Sonic games were the generic robots compared to like the more unique, like animal themed ones of like the older games. So this game brought them back. Hey, the quote-unquote badniks, as many of us English speakers know them, were a big draw in this game, seeing these moto bugs, and for what it's worth, I really like the designs they have in this. Yes, they're very cool looking in terms of like both having the like old theming and also like, while also generally looking a bit more modern and futuristic. It's a nice balance. They're new designs that capture what was good about them. Unlike, say, whatever the fuck they did to Motobug in Lost World. Is that supposed to happen? You know, let's not think about it too much. Yeah, remember when I said there are very few places where, Oh, I was gonna say wisps are mandatory, but you can technically, homing attack them here. Yeah, generally I think colors just made a lot of the older enemies look fiercer. They also brought back egg pawns, which are those little generic egg dudes from Sonic Heroes. Of all the like various like foot soldier enemies that have been in Sonic games, do we make this without fucking dying? No. Whoops. Let's do this right again. I think they're my favorite. They look like sufficiently Eggman-y. They're cool. They're kind of funny looking. But even with these they did a good job making them a little more themed by giving them little themed outfits for the different zones. The ones here have little the ones here are like the band in a parade, so they have hats and trumpets and things. The ones in Tropical Resort have welcome signs. You'll see other ones in other levels. Yeah, but it's not, the problem isn't that I slid, it's that I didn't boost the whole time through. Yeah, the 06 ones are silly. It's funny because like the thing of like generic enemies started with Sonic Adventure 2, but the reason it started with those games because those weren't Eggmans, they were the friggin' government. Of course the government had like more bland, serious looking shit. But then like I think Heroes switched to them because, you know, that game had a lot more combat, so they wanted to make more consistent enemies for that. But also Heroes was kind of a pain, so whatever. I love how Gun basically entirely used robots in Sonic Adventure 2, but then because Shadow the Hedgehog had to be edgy, they just threw in like actual human soldiers. I think that's pretty funny. So, people die in Shadow the Hedgehog. One thing funny about that game is that game was one of the first games to get an E10 rating, which is why it's probably a good deal edgier than most games that get that rating nowadays. Like, you probably wouldn't have him slinging damn every time he got hurt in an E10 game nowadays. But then, you know, it's fine. One thing about this game is that there's segments like this that aren't really hard to beat, but lots of opportunities to score, because like all my personal favorite Sonic game ranking systems, your rank is based on your score, which includes a time bonus, but also other things like ring bonus, getting bonuses just for doing shit. There's a bonus every time you quick-step, even, so. Yeah, E10 is like, it's basically as if before that there was only G and PG-13, with that being T. So, but the thing is, Shadow the Hedgehog very nearly had a T rating anyway. The way it managed to avoid it was by changing the little bits of blood that come out when you hit the alien enemies to green. Just with that change, they were able to avoid a T rating. Because in some of the pre-release footage, they don't really look like blood, honestly. It looks more like... Oops, why'd I do that? It looks more like particle effects. But, yeah, they are red in some pre-release footage before switching to green, so... Sorry I'm giving this level a bit too much time, but again, I'm having a little trouble hooking onto this game while talking, so... Oh well, we've got all day. Nothing to rush for. Sonic Frontiers isn't out for a full week, so... Yeah, the fact that Metal Gear Solid 1 and 5 have the same rating. Yeah, I see what you mean. Or like, even though an example for me is with the Devil May Cry series. The entire series is rated M, but I'm pretty sure the only one with serious swearing, or the only ones rather, are the reboot and 5. Like, they're the only ones that actually get like shits and fucks out of. But, you know. Yeah, like the... yeah, like there's enough violence in Devil May Cry for it to be, for all the games to be M-rated. Did I say they were T? I meant they were all M. Because they're all M, but only, like, a few of them had, like, swearing, for example. But all of them do... Almost all the games do have Dante getting impaled, so... I mean, original Final Fantasy VII, I don't know what that game was rated, but I know it had its fair share of damns, and also calling people retarded, like, jeez. Final Fantasy VII in this English script is fucking wild, and not in a really good way. Original game, I mean, not the remake. Just missed that red ring because I forgot which lane it was in. 1997 Tifa's cancelled. Yeah, exactly. Personally, I think it's kind of wild how that English version made Barrett talk just way more like fucking Mr. T than he was ever originally in Japanese. Like, sure, yeah, that's the one thing you can think of for this guy, isn't it? Anyway, what's funny is that after Shadow, a lot of future Sonic games got E10 ratings, even like... I mean, yeah, that's a fair point, but point is I think he sounded less... I think he sounded just more serious in general. Oh, like... Hey, they just kind of... I mean, the guy's like a dad. Like, when you get right down to it, Barrett's like a dad. I mean, he is a dad, but he's also like a dad. He's a very dadly dad. He just also has a gun for a hand. Yeah, this is what I want here. Little bit of puzzly elements with this Wisp. Kind of neat. Oops, wrong one. This will just fling me back here. Solid Snake could be daddish. Now let's see if I can do this, because like this is the speedrun strat. You boost through the whole thing and slide at the very end. Yeah, that feels really good. These skydive sections, another thing brought back from Unleashed. So yeah, I gave that stage a bit of time, but it's a neat one. I don't even know what rank I'll get on it. A's pretty good. That's another one where I think... that was a little tricky getting S rank on. I'm glad the S ranks in this game are relatively challenging. Some games it gets too easy and that just kills the replay value. And here you see, like, once you get a Wisp for the first time, it ends up populating in other stages, so... That's another thing that adds replay value to this game. It's pretty clear there's just stuff you can't do until you unlock them and put them back in earlier stages, so... Yeah, Japanese versions of games get censored a ton for violence in particular. Yeah, I just like the score-based rankings much better. Even Forces had score-based ones, but I think they're a little too easy. The ones that are just time-based, I feel, make the game a little too one-note. But yeah, Japan more specifically has a lot of standards against, like, violence. And it's like a lot of times games will have, like, censored, actually multiple versions of a violent game with different ratings. And then the one with the higher rating is still censored, just less. Oops. Oh. That was on me. Yeah, a lot of... Oh, I actually don't remember what this game was rated. It's probably E, but... Yeah, because I know Sonic 06 was like E10, which, I mean, I guess Sonic died in it, but... Yeah, remember, like... A lot of people talk about the infamous kiss in Sonic 06. I'm still kind of the idea that the most cringeworthy section was what led up to that. Which is when he just fucking died. And also, like, the dumbest way possible. Like, they literally just had the main village show up behind him and stab him with like, while he was just walking in a field. It's so funny. Yeah, like... Yeah, there's a lot going on. Oh boy. You know how a lot of the levels in this game are based around gimmicks? Here's a gimmick that's not... This level is based on a gimmick, but it sure isn't based. Everyone's favorite weird little yellow spring platform. It's not the worst thing, but it's tedious. Like, one thing that's nice is that when it's moving horizontally, you can actually speed it up. But when it's moving vertically, you do not have that luxury. You can just kind of wait around a bit. Yeah, exactly. It's like a Mario-ass gimmick. I hope they put it in Frontiers. That would be funny. Oh, I thought there was a platform down there. That said, the second time this gimmick showed up is more annoying because there's like a long vertical section that you can't do anything about. But honestly, like when it comes to like weird gimmicks, if like level specific ones, this game is more hit than miss if you ask me. Like I know some people don't love that sort of thing, but I think most of them work out, and it's largely just this one kind of being what it is. Just gotta stomp them around. At least they still give me a loop to run through. Yeah, Starlight Carnival is... Someone mentioned earlier, it's the eye candy level. This is like, whoa, look how flashy and colorful and cool this game is. Which I think was also somewhat liked because a lot of Sonic games had gone for like slightly more realistic settings recently. Like, Sonic Unleashed is still beautiful in how it handles it, especially compared to something like 06, but it was nice to see a big 3D Sonic game be more outlandish in looks again. It felt like they hadn't really done that since like Heroes. Yeah, Transformed had a track based off of this, so it was cool. Well, Team Sonic Racing had, like, clearly had a budget of a ham sandwich, so... It did what it had to. It's a shame, I like that game mechanically, and obviously the music's excellent. It's just, like, because of, like, the obvious budget, the track design ended up being hit and miss, because a bunch of them are from the original Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing, and its tracks are honestly kind of bad. Oh, I thought you were ready to move horizontally. Oh, I'm at the beginning again, aren't I? Yeah, no, I'm not doing that with a minute 30 add to the clock. Oh yeah, one thing that happens in this game when you die, you keep whatever time you were at, so, don't die. Just don't do that. Do things that are not dying. Now, I feel like people are a little harsh on Team Sonic Racing, but like, it is at least worth, or like, putting blame on Sega for clearly, like, just not letting them do as much as they did with Transform, despite Transform being so damn good. I even like, because I think the team mechanics are actually pretty neat, just a good way to mix up the kart racing genre. But not having as many unique environments and having, like, so many, like, just... A lot of the, like, that's the other thing, a lot of the tracks from the original game just feel, like, strictly worse, like, not just in design, but also in, like, how varied they are. And one way that's true is that how, that game, both the original Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing would have multiple tracks in the same environment, basically in, you know, zones. What, you don't want to drive Zoma Chow? But, the thing about the zones is that for the original tracks of Team Sonic Racing, tracks in the same zone actually varied in aesthetics a lot more than they did in, like, original Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing. Like, if you were to look at, say, the Sandopolis tracks in Team Sonic Racing, and then compare them to, say, the Seaside Hill tracks, which are from original Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing. All the Seaside Hill tracks largely look like, well, how Seaside Hill did in Heroes. A mixture of, like, the similar kinds of hills and grass and beaches with some ruins thrown in there. You know how to... You've seen what that looks like. Meanwhile, if you look at the Sandopolis tracks, there's one that's, like, entirely outside called Sand Road that has you driving over dunes, mostly. Or entirely, really. It's all about driving across these dunes. And then there's one called Boo's House, which is inside a pyramid, which looks completely different when you're inside, which you are for most of the track. And then the third one is a Clockwork Pyramid, which is on the outside of a pyramid, but this one's also actually mechanical. There's actually a surprising amount of, like, variance in terms of what's in a single zone, and that's way different from the tracks from the original Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing. Like, the only exception I put there for the new tracks to Team Sonic Racing are, like, the ones from, the ones on Planet Wisp, but they all look a little more similar. Though, still some differences, like the kind of the big, like, tree area on Wisp Circuit, that's unique. See, I like when they use theoretically the same zone or whatever, but they manage to make each part look very different. The, like, Ice Cap tracks in, Team Sonic Racing are a great example of that, because in those there's one that's like what you'd think of when you think ice, like an ice cap. I don't remember the actual name of it. Is the DS version of Sonic Colors the canon version of the story? Theoretically, yes. In practice, I think if you're worrying about the canon of Sonic games released between 2010 and 2022, you're probably hurting yourself. Like, I think just, like, they didn't care around this time, you probably shouldn't either. I'd argue in some ways they didn't care in, like, the, in the 2000s they kind of slowed down on caring as well. At least after, like, they resolved Shadow Story. But that was less than, like, they didn't want to do anything with it, or more of a, like, left hand doesn't know what the right hand is doing thing. Like, how both Sonic Heroes and Sonic Battle brought back Shadow, but kind of screwed up the story with the way they did so. Oh, and then there's, like, reconciling the Rivals games with other things, and, like, it's a lot of, like, they were trying, but, like, again, there were, like, different teams making the games. So it became a mess just to how they were doing things, especially when they started putting, like, more stories in the handheld games, like with Battle and Advance 3 and Rush. It's hard to hear the PA announcements in this game, but they're, like, really funny. That one I think I heard just said, like, the hypersleep ride is not for children, women who are pregnant, or people who don't want to be asleep for 3 years. That one's great too. Ooh, this ride is not safe for riders under 12 or over 30. Riders under 12 or over 13. It's also not safe for 13-year-olds. Sounds like 12-year-olds get to have a fun time, but I get the feeling it's not safe for them either. But yeah, the PA announcements are great. Probably the best part of the writing of this game. It's sad they're generally kind of hard to hear, but like, also I wouldn't want to turn down the music in this game because the music's really good, so kind of sacrifices you're making. Like, as far as I know, the comics, the IDW comics, are technically only canon to themselves, but they start by following up after Forces, and Gemrel is still around, so yeah, I think we can safely say he's still around. Oh, and he lives with Cream and Vanilla. And yeah, this is one of those few bits where you're largely made to use a Wisp. I think you can definitely do some big jumps to hit homing attack these spinning things, but if you're a normal human being, you're just gonna be grabbing the Hover Wisps. It's not like it's super intrusive or something. I think they mostly just say that to keep from scaring fans. Bonk. I love how peaceful the Hover Wisp music is. But yeah, like, I think in this era it's, yeah, like, and like the funny thing about Gemrel's story is that if you get right down to it, if you don't want to deal with like how Sonic Battle contradicts other games, you can theoretically take just the entirety of a story in Sonic Advance 3 as the canon, and not really miss out on too much. Like, because I believe that game, like, in its manual, something just kind of hints that Gemrel is not Eggman's technology and is like from somewhere else and has unique things about him, but doesn't get specific. Actually, which reminds me of the Sonic the most recent. Yeah, like I said, Shadow coming back in battle. I think it was probably just like whoever was writing that game was writing it at the same time as Heroes, and like they were allowed to put Shadow in, but not told about that Heroes was also putting him in. Yeah, they're all Kizo and technically I believe there may have been another one introduced in like Chronicles, but if there's any Sonic game that's not canon anymore, it's Chronicles. Hoo boy. That is the least canon Sonic game to exist. My goodness. It is very hard to get less canon than Sonic Chronicles at this point. Ever think about how that game like entirely just ended on a huge cliffhanger and then never got to be a sequel? That never got even close to getting a sequel. Like, first from its bad reception, and then from being just legally demolished by one Ken Penders. Because somehow the idea of, oh, some echidnas secretly survived and were evil is something that is completely only original to him. And not something that anyone could come up with if they wanted to. The opening of Unleashed being a follow-up to the cliffhanger of Chronicles, that would make... Wasn't Chronicles... Because I didn't actually know what Chronicles cliffhanger was until recently. Wasn't it basically that Sonic and friends got back from fighting the villains of fighting the Dark Brotherhood and Eggman's taking over the world? So the idea that like that giant battleship Sonic is destroying in Unleashed is like the final boss of that game that doesn't exist, that would be pretty funny. And what Sonic game doesn't get referenced? Sonic Pocket Adventure. Oh, they can't mention it at all.
If I was an alien in need of safety,
Didn't know that, but that's interesting.
where would I be? Experience has taught me to investigate anything that glows. Huh? Experience has also taught me that the best way to solve problems is to kick robot butt.
This is our caution to avoid feeding, petting, or saving any aliens.
Excuse me, giant killer robot? You want to do this the hard way
Hotel
or the easy
Sonic.
way? Somehow I knew you'd say that.
Why'd they give Shadow amnesia? I'd say it's a combination of two things. One is that amnesia is a cool and angsty and edgy thing to give your cool and angsty and edgy character. You know. Oh, like, did Cloud technically have amnesia? He was certainly repressing some memories at least. Squall had it, you know, that sort of thing. Mixture of that, and also the fact that his entire character arc was kinda over. There's a way to beat this boss like really fast. I don't know it, so I'm just gonna hit it till it dies and probably take a lot longer than I should. Like, there's a specific way that involves hitting each part a specific number of times. Do I hit this or? Yeah, I do. Getting all your quick steps out of the way. Yeah, they give you points. Gotta do a bunch of them. Oh, exciting. But yeah, I think the other reason I'd say they gave Shadow amnesia is because he kind of has an extremely complete character arc in Sonic Adventure 2, and they didn't have anywhere else to bring him. So let's just destroy that, I guess they said. Die, bitch. Did he survive that? Oh well, I have another laser. There's no way this thing survives that. Yeah, there we go. Once you hear the boss start spewing rings, it's always over. Guess they just want to give you a bonus for beating it. But yeah. That's the thing. Sonic Canon became a mess. Oh, I think, like, for a good chunk of the 2010s, they just tried to ignore it instead of dealing with it. Like, Colors and Earth feels relatively self-contained. Generations kind of passes over the implications of what's going on with the time travel, mostly just using it as an excuse to bring back the levels. Lost World happens just somewhere.
It's the BBBE. Best boss beating ever.
Yeah, it's cringy, but Sonic's such a corn dog.
Is Yacker giving you any more information?
No, I think the reason I like some of Sonic cringy jokes in them is because everyone else knows his jokes suck.
Translation stuff.
Like-
100%.
Like, Tails is like, that's... Like, you can tell by Tails' expression, they're like, that fucking sucked, dude.
Are made up of
I think there's a difference between, like, the writers think this is funny, and the writers know it's not funny and think it's funny that everyone else knows it's not funny. I don't know.
well, sort of.
I give leeway to Color specifically. I think it's pretty funny.
You only got a taste of it. Look at what happened.
A good amount of the jokes land, which is more than you can say for Lost World. God, what the hell happened there?
Was first translating as horrible body odor. Anyway, it seems an evil man, and you might know him, who they call Baldy Nosehair.
Baldy
Ah,
nose
shit.
hair. That's the best thing I've heard all day. I gotta remember that one.
I know, I've already written it down. Anyway, he's draining them of their power, all their power, and using it for an evil
There it is. Baldy Nose Hair.
dolphin? No, a porpoise.
The forbidden name.
An evil purpose.
That's good intel. Keep working on it.
Hey, where you going?
The fucking ball.
Find Baldy McNosehair, of course. I'm totally calling him McNosehair.
That's how you piss off some Sonic fans. Just bring up that.
Starlight Carnival. Next up, the Sweet Mountain.
I love the music at this level. All the big horde stab and stuff. It's so good feeling. That's one of those lines that ends up getting covered up by a lot of things, but it's so funny. The announcement is, insulin will be... Welcome to the Sweet Mountain. Insulin will be provided at a marginal extra cost. And by marginal, I mean enormous. Like, dude. Here's a little oddity about this game. Drifting relegated to specific sections. You get points for it, though, so... Sonic needs Fortnite. Billy Hatcher, or Sample Bratchet. This song is literally what if the Billy Hatcher soundtrack was, like, twice as good. There's some good songs on it, but some of it's really annoying. Anyway. Speaking of songs, this is the best song in the game. God, I want an Among Us collab. Apparently in the, what's that, that VTuber, Corone collab for Sonic Frontiers, one of the cosmetics actually changes what the Cocos look like. Do you know how much I want a, Among Us collab that turns the Cocos into crewmates? I want that so badly, you don't even know. Oops, did not realize I'd end up there. So yeah, drill really opens up certain levels in this game. Exactly! Turn them into Among Pequeño. It's important to the timeline. Anyway, I think Sega's always been a little afraid on going too hard on the idea of, like, Sonic canon, because, you know, this is a series that frequently is always looking for new fans, new child fans in particular, so they don't want to be like, oh yeah, you have to know what the hell happened previously. I'll have to give that a look at some point. I like how you could just dump a bunch of robots onto the, these huge, like, missiles full of jelly beans that exist for some reason. Sweet Mountain's a good level. Content warning, baby park count. Thank you for the warning. Maybe I'll go back through this game and S-rank it at some point before Frontiers comes out. Alright, now we've got drill everywhere. There's another Wisp in this world, right? Do you unlock Spike here? No, you unlock Rocket here. Then you get Spike in Planet Wisp, and then... Amazed if Sonic went for a Digimon-esque audience change. How so? I mean, like, just, like, fully committing to, like, teenagers and older fans like a bunch of Digimon stuff has? I mean, if you think about it, that's kind of what Mania did. It, like, aiming different stuff at, like, different segments of the fan base. Different Ace is something that is not completely foreign to the series. The kind of Sonic fans that care about canon. I mean, considering some of the things they're saying about Frontiers, maybe that'll be the game to look out for. Oops. Like, there was a recent tweet that was something like that Sonic Frontiers was start of like the third wave of Sonic, with the first being like the original classic games and the second being the adventure 3D games onwards, and this the third one and after that. But they said that it's not just gameplay. He said, like, it's not just like the open zone gameplay that makes them call it that. Also, this song is so good, but it'll also be quote unquote discussed in the game. So there's like maybe some big story thing that that makes it like a big advancement, which is very curious. This level's neat. There's kind of there's surprisingly a lot of stuff going on with it. Got this whole like setup where it's, yeah, there's Chao around each line. That's so cool. But yeah. Yeah, I get the feeling that whatever Frontiers is doing, it might leave some marks on the series going forward. Some very interesting ones. Also, fun fact about this, you could extend the timer on that a little bit by mashing that button to do the little spin it, because that does the light speed dash. But if you're not near the you know, I forget which one of these actually shortcuts you right to the end of the level. Is it the bottom one? No. Top one? Nope, wrong one. In fact, I'm backwards now. There's a lot going on in this level, like I said. Yeah. I feel like they kind of want to do characters a bit more justice rather than using them for punchlines. Funnily enough, of all the games to do that, I feel like Team Sonic Racing was like weirdly respectful of the characters despite being like lighthearted. Or like it didn't feel like it was making fun. Like Big was in the game, but it didn't feel like it was making fun of him. In fact, there was only one character in Team Sonic Racing that felt like it was being made fun of by the writing, and that was Zavok, which I think is really, really funny. Cringe before. Yeah, but like if you play the story mode, there's so many bits that are just like, oh look, Zavok fucked up, and Eggman yells at him. Big actually had like a good point there, where or at some point in the game where like, basically they were wondering if like the Dodo and Pa guy who was running all the races was evil, and Big points out that like, well, if the Wisps are working with him, then he can't be all bad, and they're like, huh, that's true, since unlike in that game, they're not captured, they're just there. Hey, would you look at that? But yeah, Big he really does just want to fish, for God's sake. Oh, and here's something. You know what, I'm going to show this off now, because I might not want to do it after I beat the game. Let's head off to Gameland. Gameland is an odd little thing where you can play it as 2 players, and you basically get, it's just a bunch of extra levels. Unambiguously good adult. Hey! Well, he's not the only one. There's Vanilla, I guess. I don't actually have any Miis on this emulator, sadly, but you can play this as a Mii for some reason. I think Limiter is only in 2-player mode, but yeah, crank him. Anyway, unlock a number of levels here, I think. Vanilla did. Yeah, he can be Sonic in another color. It includes like these, you know, chiptune-y remixes of other games. And funny thing about some of these layouts is that they're frequently actually based on like Sonic 1 layouts for some reason. Like, I'm pretty sure this one is this the Green Hill one? Probably. Oh yeah, it's the Green Hill one. It's got the thing. It has the thing. And yeah, there are a couple like unique gimmicks around here, like these pool balls rolling around that I keep getting hit by like a moron. Also, when you hit the goal, it like starts dropping rings for a couple times before you actually clear the stage. I don't know why it does that. Now, there's no ranks for these, but if you beat all of them, you actually get something special. But to unlock them, you have to get at all the red rings. I think to get all of them, you need all the red rings, but I can't be sure. You keep getting hit by them like a smart fellow. But if you beat all of them, each time you beat all the ones like in a world, like all the World 1 ones, 2, etc., you get a Chaos Emerald. and you get all 7 Chaos Emeralds, well, all you can do for the first time in a 3D Sonic game, become Supersonic in levels. Which is a feature that originally existed, of course, in Sonic 2 and Sonic 3, Sonic and Knuckles, but then never made it to a 3D game, though it almost made it a couple of times, judging by some cut content. And because there's cut content and there's some cut lines in both the original Sonic Adventure and in a Sonic 06 that make it pretty clear they wanted to pull that off at some point. But they didn't. Because Sonic Adventure had a shit ton of things going on and they had to cut it to finish it. And 06, you know, was 06, so... Okay, I'm gonna be honest, I really want, like, hey, it's that if you beat Sonic Frontiers, you get, like, free access to Super Sonic. I think that would rule. Because I think, like, it would be a great way to, like, just more or less clean up stuff you missed on the islands, because you'd be able to just shred through the entire level. The entire island, rather. Like, you could, like, fly over it invincibly, and... I think that would be a really cool thing to do, so I really hope they manage to pull that off. Oops. Oops. There we go. Sonic taking a shower is more than playable Super Sonic. Well, I agree. Don't have spikes yet. This is what I think. Yeah. What's that? Oh, that's the last one. But yeah, I do hope that, and Frontiers considers that. It would be a very cool way to handle things. Especially if Sonic does end up doing a different transformation for the final boss anyway. And in some ways I actually like the way this game handled Super Sonic. Apart from the music, but like that's always a problem with Super Sonic. But is it because like when you have Super Sonic like enabled in this game, you actually don't get access to the Wisps. So you do end up missing out on some stuff, but you can still shred through the levels if you really want to, and like depending on the level, you might still be able to get good ranks, because you might see on the right side of the screen you get bonus points for doing lots of things in this game. Existing as Super Sonic gets you a bonus. It's just a Super Sonic bonus that you get every couple seconds for being Super Sonic. So on some levels, that can make up for the stuff you miss out on by not having Wisps. It depends, though. Alright, time for the stage where if you're speedrunning, there's a zillion damage boosts because waiting for these things to spin sucks. If you don't speedrun it, well, you might still do that anyway like this, because I do not want to wait for that. I know this level also has some really broken speedrun skips in general thanks to this laser, but I don't know how to do them, so won't be seeing them. Sorry. Let's not think about it too much. Do what comes naturally, I'd say. Anyway, as mentioned, a lot of the more gimmicky stages in this game are entirely 2D. Which some may consider a problem. It's fine, it works for the game, I think. I get why after a while it started to feel like they were using 2D levels instead of 3D. That's actually an interesting thing about Frontiers. See, they showed off gameplay of the third island recently, and oh, the red ring up there. But one thing that's interesting about it, there's a couple of sections in Sonic Frontiers where even in the open zones, the camera will shift to like a 2D perspective. The third island in particular has a ton of those. Like, it has just this like massive 2D section for you to go through a bunch of different 2D challenges. It's very strange. And I'm sure some Sonic fans were really mad watching that footage, but since it's like, because like actually when all that footage dropped and I first saw that, I'm like, why are there really that many 2D sections in the open areas, because that was the one I watched first of all those videos that came out like 2 weeks or so ago. But then I watched one of the ones of the other islands, and I'm like, no, it's just that island's thing. And I think it's curious that they went with that gimmick for that island's. Oh, my apologies. I'm gonna switch topics again. But yeah, that's why I didn't say the name of the island. I know it's a spoiler. But yeah, I am probably gonna talk about Frontiers some, but I'll try and avoid spoiling too much. All right, thanks for showing up. I will probably be streaming Frontiers around launch, so you'll probably want to play it with yourself first. But for anyone who doesn't, or doesn't care much about spoilers, you can stop by. Yeah, it's such an unusual thing that I'm curious to see how it works out. And worst comes to worst, if it is like weird or annoying, then it's only, and then like, I don't know, it's part of one island, so like, yeah, I've never seen anything like that. No one has ever done this in the history of Dota. Wow, I'm fucking this up. I want to run this a bit smoother. Keep thinking there's like hidden things behind those breakable objects. There's not. They're just walls. One minor thing I don't like about this game, quick stepping is done with the analog stick by tapping it left or right, but you have to hold forward to go forward. So you have to like keep shifting from going forward to going left and right, unless you're boosting, because boosting just makes you go forward. So if you're boosting, you can quick step all you want really easily. Eggman yelling about butts, don't worry about it. Ooh, didn't quite make it. I want to do that section. Yeah, like, yeah, 2D, just switching to 2D in, like, this open area. And I believe that, like, you're able to, like, get out of 2D as well, like, if you want. It's, like, I think it's a camera shift and, like, a partial control lock that you can break if you really want to. It's such an odd thing the game is doing. The game's just doing things that are interesting, I think. I think it's cool when games do that. When they just try stuff. Again, Eggman yelling about butts. Oh, jeez. That's a mean jump. Like that little infinity sign looking loop there. I think you do this by... Yeah. Yes, he can personally confirm it's a good game. Man, this red ring always gives me no end of shit. Should be so simple, but controlling your angle as you launch off this is actually a little tricky. No, it was Kishimoto, the director, who had Sonic's voice in his head. They're different flavors of insane. Now, of course, I think between what some things he said about like this game, I think the thing is that like Izuka Sonic the Topo, that he has a Sonic in his head that says that, and he listens to it, but I think Sega's higher ups do not listen to it, and that's why we get like Rush Sonic games or things. Like Kishimoto and his Sonic Brain Warp do the best they can, but you know how it is when the suits are telling you we need a holiday release, you know? Ah, damn it, damn it, damn it. Big F. Yeah, I do hope that Sonic Frontiers is at least good enough to make people all be like, hey, maybe like we can blame Sega for making them like chew through these games at light speed instead of just being like, oh, everyone who makes Sonic is obviously an idiot. I mean, it's funny, like I think Sonic Boom enough proved that it wasn't just their fault when a completely different team ended up with a fucked up Sonic game because they were given shitty time and resources, but somehow brains in the Sonic community don't seem to go together. I wonder why. Okay, not like that. The huge open world action heavy clusterfuck might be the Sonic game with the most normal development. It literally, as far as I'm aware, has the single longest development time of any Sonic game, and it's like 3 years. Like, there's games that have gone like twice that. 3 years of full development, like, and like after like restarting some stuff, but I think the funniest thing that I heard exactly. You live like this? Honestly, the funniest thing I heard about Frontiers' development is that they said initial planning started in when Iizuka said that initial planning started in December of 2017. When November of 2017 was when Forces came out, so they're clearly just like, all right, we need to change some shit up immediately because that was ass. Like Forces immediately came out and they're like, yeah, no more of that. Like, people need to know that one, no one wants to make bad games, and two, I think a lot of these companies know that they make bad. A lot of the people who work on these games know when something they're working on is kind of turning out to be a turd. Like, they're not stupid. Like, they know Forces probably didn't have a ton of the stuff they wanted in it. Like, they can tell. Jesus Christ. One thing that's a little weird about this game that throws me off a bit is that you don't always get boosts from enemies, but it's not clear which ones do and which ones don't. So like sometimes I expect to get some from enemies and it's just like, nah. Weird game. Donut Loop. Yeah, those. Yeah, I remember those. Oh, those like supposedly that leaked version of the Forces script came out, and there were a bunch of notes that were like never confirmed to be Aaron Webber, but probably were. That were a bunch of things like talk about basically all the problems fans complained about in the script. One of my favorites is just like the script says Silver the Hedgehog walks in and he's just like, why is he here? Like, that's one of my favorite bits. It's just like, Forces offers no explanation why the guy whose whole thing is time traveling from the future is here. Which, by the way, was only ended up explained in those, like, prequel comics they made with IDW before the proper IDW comics started.
Generator. That's it, Hedgehog. Stand there and be a nice little target.
Tails, is that you humming?
Sonic, look out!
This thing, there's always something else wrong with you. Have you read the IDW comics? Because that literally happens in those.
He's my buddy now.
What have you done to him?
Me? I did nothing at all. Unless shooting him with my mind control beam that runs on alien energy counts is doing something to him. Does it? To get to me, you're going to have to go through your best friend. This turned out much better than I could have hoped.
Yeah, like, hey, the Silver the Silver of IDW came back to act for forces to, you know, stop the Eggman Empire taking over. So then, and then he went back to the future after that. And then he came back because now the future was wrong but different.
Come on, Tails. Snap out of it, dude. You don't want to do this. What the? Tails, buddy, are you all right?
Yeah. Both games did that, but frankly, this game, at least it's like,
Cheap alien energy.
at least unlike this game, it's clear that like the mind control ray is like his entire plan. Like, so this scene is mostly to introduce that.
One little punk, but the whole universe.
Like Tails becoming a like cyborg in Sonic Lost World, it just happens, and then later it like unhappens. It's so weird. Like they just introduced that and then just like didn't.
Pay up, Tails. I told you he had an evil plot, and coming here was a good idea. There it is, straight from the horse's mouth.
We didn't bet.
Dang.
Sonic is really so sad about that. Yeah, Tails is actually fast and like. There's some good moments between Sonic and Tails in this game, like between the way they care about each other, but also like rib at each other a bit. They kind of feel like brothers, which is the way they're kind of always talked about. But kind of I feel like it helps keep like it helps like Sonic kind of seem like an whatever. I don't know where I'm going with that thought, but I actually don't hate their relation in this game, even if I think Tails himself isn't as written as good as he could be. Oh yeah, I have this. This boss is weird. Here it is, because it has these little level segments, and then you go to this. Yeah, that part. It changed shape. Did you see that? Like, yeah, he saw it. Right in the butt. I don't have any rings though, so. Back on the boat. Okay, there's more rings here, luckily. Actually works very well. Ooh, that bounce is nice. Yeah, I think like the reason this game's writing works to me compared to like a lot of, even if some people don't like it, is that I think it just handles its small cast pretty well. Right in the butt. You dead? Yeah, I think you're dead. There you go. So yeah, we've done. So that's 3 worlds done. We've seen 3 of this game's bosses, and we've also seen the other 3 because, or another 3, because this game kind of just reuses its bosses. But we'll get to that when we get there. Let's see more jokes and funnies.
Hey, Sonic, did you give the guide your complaint?
Oh, I gave it to him pretty good. Sup, Yacker? So did you get any more info out of him?
Well, it wasn't easy, but yeah.
Well, we know Eggman is going to use the energy he's stealing for a mind control weapon.
Learned that one the hard way.
Do you know how Eggman is getting all these aliens?
Yeah. At first, I thought that Yacker was talking about how Baldy Nosehair was using burps to do it.
He is pretty gassy. Don't knock him out? I don't know, something doesn't seem right with that.
That's what I said. It made no sense. Then I made a tiny adjustment and realized it was saying generators.
That makes more sense.
No burps. Well, that's a relief.
Tell me about it. So basically, Eggman is using 5 tractor beam generators to hold their planet in orbit while he scoops the aliens all up.
Hold a whole planet?
Well, it's tiny, but still, yeah.
Okay, fine. 5 generators? Well, I've already leveled 2.
So, if my math is correct, that means
If my math is correct, bro, with 2 plus 3.
take out.
Or 5 minus 2.
Math, but
Nobody said there'd be math. That's a good feeling.
Aliens don't have much time.
once I start moving, I don't need much time.
Quick maths.
Soon the mind control weapon will be full of energy I've siphoned from the aliens, and Sonic's world will be the center of my interplanetary theme park.
I like how this kind of looks like the office area where Eggman ate his really HD sandwich in Unleashed.
Yes, I reckon I will. Where is your new voice chip?
Got it right here, sir. Just need to install it. The think bone's connected to the talk bone. The talk bone's connected to the mouth bone. There. Good as new.
Finally. I don't think anything could have been more annoying than that cowboy chatter.
Feeling ship-shape, new voice chip I am. Begging your pardon, Squire, but me and McMahon are gonna sail off and search for that lover Sonic.
I think that's the wrong chip.
Really? Are you sure he doesn't normally speak in pirate?
On the bright side, he's much more exotic now.
Just
Hey, I think that's kind of racist, dude.
Shortly, I will have no need for those idiots.
You never had a need for them.
2 hours, Sonic's world will be under my control. When it is, it will be the crown jewel of my amusement park. The greatest amusement park in the universe. I think I gloated so hard I pulled a muscle.
Alright, and this unlocks three more zones. It'll be a little bit before the next one, I think. Around once every hour I have them set for now. So I can head off to Planet Wisp. And then I'm going to do a little detour. But we're going to do Planet Wisp Act 1 first. Hit with these beautiful piano tunes. An iconic part of this game. Oops. Oh, so close. That part's actually pretty tricky to do at boost speed. Feels good to nail it, though. Would probably be easier if this game didn't run at 30 frames per second, but that's just jobbing at that point. Drifted up. Ooh, I didn't get the boost this time. Do you need the boost? Boost here? I forget. Yeah, you need the boost to get high enough to actually hit those hoops up there. That's a kind of interesting thing in this game that comes up kind of rarely, but it's neat when it does. That some ramps actually send you higher if you boost. But yeah, you gotta hit these like speed pads up here to nail grab this boost here. You can even hear Sonic go like, "Oh," when he hits the ring, which I think is neat. Yeah, and of course, Planet Wisp is a classic. Very pretty level. Mixes both all this sort of alien nature with, you know, all the construction machinery. There's lots of ways to take some of these 2D sections. Yo, momentum! Dudes, that was the reason I got so high there was because of momentum, but I thought that wasn't in these games. I know, and it lets you do this like spin dash, this sort of spinning dash sort of move. Wonder how they could ever come up with that idea. It is a little funny that a few of the wisps in this game have, you know, things Sonic could already do in other games as one of their powers. Ah, I want the jump there. The jump didn't jump again. Oops, wrong button. Let's not do it like that. But yeah, I like how they went out of the way to make like the trees and grasses look alien in this. Like those, like they're obviously what they are, but they just look a little weird. I think that's really neat. Yeah, like even Generation. I mean, yeah, you really can't roll at all in Unleashed apart from, you know, jumping. Well, HD Unleashed. Wii Unleashed actually makes you like spin dash when you you know, it makes you spin dash when you hit a speed pad, which is kind of weird. It's just like an animation change, but it is a thing that happens. Yeah, at Generations at least made it so that like drifting was spin dashing now, which is kind of weird. I actually like the drifting animation in Unleashed in Colors, but I don't know. And I mean, I guess Classic Sonic of course has it. Like I was about to say, how does these spin dashing forces? But Classic Sonic's in that game, so. Lost World's version of the spin dash actually would be neat if it was in a better game, because the way you can kind of like jump in it and then kind of chain into it. Yeah, that's what I wanted. Just a shortcut, but it's a cool one. So this time hit the button that does the thing and not the thing that does the other thing. Anyway, that should unlock Spike Wisp, and that'll explain why I'm doing my next little detour as well. You don't have to move here to go back. Why do I keep doing that? We're going to Asteroid Coaster to unlock one more Wisp. Asteroid Coaster is my favorite zone in this game. I love the rock music. It just has the most going on because it's supposed to be the last level. But I have access to it now, so I'm going to do the first level right now and then leave the rest for a bit later. This zone is just raw Goat Kino and swag. And it unlocks one more Wisp, like I said. Frenzy. Where Sonic turns into the fucker-upper and causes destruction. Yo, momentum. Go for a ride. By the way, hey, I will say something about Sonic Colors for the DS. Asteroid Coaster sucks in that game. It's like my biggest disappointment with that game. Asteroid Coaster is just a huge pain in the ass. Made me really sad, because I love this zone in this game. Feels like it's the place where the game just lets loose its most potential, since it knows that you're probably doing it last. And again, the rockin' music. Around here. Loop around Saturn. I know that Sonic fans complain about like homing attack sections like that, but I actually like that one in particular. Or because like you do have to actually like guide the character through the air instead of just, you know. Instead of just like hitting the A button sometimes. Like, yeah, because if you gotta go different direction in this, you have to actually move Sonic that way. It feels good. I've already got 4 red rings. What's one more? We ready to go for a ride? Boom, boom, jump. Oh, guess I wanted to hit that. Oh, right, that's not supposed to be. I'm supposed to. Oh no, do I not jump off on that? I forget how this section works, honestly. Not like that. There we go. And this takes me there, and there. Good ass level, but also the main reason I did it is because it unlocks the Frenzy Wisp, which is the last one we would have needed. Thereby, we have unlocked all the wisps and do not have to worry about that anymore. Anyway. Back to your regularly scheduled Planet Wisp, but first after these messages. I'm going to take a short ad break to stretch and drink some water, so... See you in a few. Hopefully. That should be working. Alright, I'm back in the saddle. Let's head back to Planet Wisp and do the rest of the stuff in order. And we'll see, actually, this act has a frenzy in it, so it's a good thing I did that, huh? I always forget that this game actually does let you do a few things out of order to unlock wisps. Like, honestly, the most annoying part of this game is that you will always have to, like, go back to most of Tropical Resort because you just have jack shit there. Okay, I'm lying. The most annoying part of this game is the Yellow Spring platforms, but you know what I mean. One thing kind of funny in this game is that if you pay attention, and like you can see like a lot of you can start to learn like how a lot of the major level geometry is like obviously reused between levels sometimes. Because of course, there's only so much they can make with how big these levels are, so. And with how good they look, like, yeesh. Like, looking at what are they? The cyberspace stages in Frontiers, the reason a lot of them are like floating tracks and like more basic like voids is because that's probably the only way they can make so many of them, rather than doing these like big intricate backgrounds. Does this get me anywhere? No, it gets me hurt. Alright, well. Yeah, that's mean. Those like flying pot looking things end up showing up for a couple of challenge levels in future games. Going up. Honestly, I like these platforms just because they remind me of ones in like Spring Yard Zone. You know, a little throwback. Oh, don't think I didn't see that. No. Yeah. And like, I remember like even saying that with Frontiers, a lot of times they had to like upsize their original plans for the islands a little bit to make sure that running across them wasn't too fast. Like they had to, like Iizuka said they actually had to do that a couple times in some cases. It'll be interesting to see how it all plays out when we get our hands on it in a week. Or at least when I do, when anyone else is getting it. Also curious to see reviews. Like, they're not going to really influence my purchasing of the game. Like I'm definitely in it to pick it up, but I'm just curious to see what people say. Especially people who, like, aren't really Sonic fans. Meanwhile, I'm incredibly incurious as to what Sonic fans will say, because a lot of it will probably be annoying. But I'm just curious how this is all going to turn out. Like, not to be a guy who, like, guesses about review scores too much, or actually exactly to be that guy, but to act like I'm not. Like, I'm expecting it'll get, like, you know... 8s, maybe a few 7s, probably like 1 or 2 lower from like someone who just did not vibe with it at all, and or just wants to shit on Sonic a lot, whichever comes first. But yeah, I don't think it's gonna blow minds, but I think it's gonna be like pretty good. Also it's gonna be soundtrack of the year. I love how from what we've heard, the Frontier soundtrack, it's like, imagine like the like piano, the like peaceful piano and string focused stuff from Breath of the Wild, except it was actually music, and then also there's EDM. There's just also EDM. Really excited for that. So one weird thing about the levels in this game is that I'm pretty sure they always unlock in order, but the maps always kind of branch out in weird directions anyway. I wonder if they were considering making it unlocking more than one at once. Maybe it does, and I just forgot because I barely pay attention to the map screens at this point. Imagine if Breath of the Wild had music. God, now I'm thinking of like Breath of the Wild, but with the Frontier soundtrack put in, and then like the shrine just get the cyberspace music. That would be really funny. Doing a big funny ball puzzle, but just pumping EDM. This is another one of those levels I end up sometimes getting confused about where I'm supposed to go. But not that. Remember, you hold right to keep going up things. For some reason I thought it would just keep going right without me holding right. It didn't. mean, I think if people do like the soundscape it does, it's fine. Like, it's not my thing, but that's because I like to jam a lot. But again, that's me. I think there's definitely like real reasons to avoid music in the traditional sense in general, though I feel like that's usually like horror games. Seems like a lot of those wouldn't work with like what we consider music beyond like a few stabs. But there we go. How do I get up there? I'm not gonna try and remember how the hell this level works. I think it's because it's that thing. Is there anything else in here? I know one of these were... Yeah, red ring. Alright, see if I can grab that. One thing about this, these controls are not perfect for 2D platforming. I think it's because, like, the game sometimes has to work a bit to turn you around because he's still, like, a 3D character who would, in 3D, would have to do that. It's not particularly bad, though it's worse in Forces for some reason. But it's not always ideal. I mean, if nothing else, also telling that one of the most memorable Breath of the Wild songs was only in a trailer. Did I? Oh. I guess that... Oh, that's the way from the lower path anyway. But yeah, there's that one thing that's like... I think it's in Smash Bros. That's literally like Breath of the Wild trailer theme. Yeah, you know what? The best way to handle this is to just kind of... Then after that... Got a rocket from that somehow, but I'll save that for a bit. Oh, there's Jewel up there. Guess I was supposed to hit the most well-liked NPCs is a guy who plays music while you're near him. So, do I land on this here? Please? Yes, because that's one way to do it. Speedrun tech. That was me fucking up and saving it, but... Sure, speedrun tech. Hey, I got the S rank from that somehow. Oh boy.
You know, as alien as this place is, there's something very Eggman-ish about it.
I think he's transforming it somehow, making it part of his theme park.
Attention guests, if you can hear this message, you are trespassing in an area still under renovation. If you are not a robot, please return to the main park areas and ignore anything evil you might have seen here. Thank you.
It looks like the theme of his park is universal domination and the conquest of alien races.
It's more than a theme, it's a reality. He's using them like some kind of living intergalactic gasoline.
That's pretty low, even for a sleazeball like Eggman.
Some displacement of indigenous aliens and destruction of natural resources may occur. Eggman Enterprises not responsible.
Freaking announcements.
You getting any of that?
Yeah, they're totally freaked out. It sounds like they're in shock because of public transportation and a loony nurse. Oh no, wait, scratch that. They're in shock because of their planet's strange transformation and having been dragged across the universe.
Well, I still can't believe he kidnapped the whole planet. How does somebody do that?
They're saying it was either ice cream or a tractor beam.
Yeah.
Probably the
I'm
latter.
going to guess it wasn't ice cream shooting out of those generators.
If it was, I would get one for back.
Dude, I'd get two. Now, if everyone will excuse me, I'm going to put a stop to these renovations.
Alright. Let's move. Huh, unlock some more of that. I always forget if you actually need like 100% of the red rings to get all the simulator stages. Probably. Yeah, it's weird. Even though the map like branches off this way, it's like you have to do 4 before 5 anyway. Even though they both branch off from 3. And I wonder if there was more they were planning on doing with the map. Yeah. I mean, I guess if like stages like the shorter ones were optional, then and that would make sense. You unlock those, but you only have to go do some of them on the map. Alright. Yeah, I can frenzy here. It would honestly make the map thing make a lot more sense, 'cause, again. And you only really need to... Only really just kind of walks straight through it anyway. Boom, 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 boom. I always forget like how the red rings are actually hidden in this level, and I don't want to think about it very much. So, yeah, we're done with that. All right, no, there's a second part to it. Forgot. Well, I mean, there's one right there, so. That feels good. Yeah, this is good. No. Act 6 is a bigger one in this level, if I remember properly. Yeah, starts with this grind section. Which means 3 points! Oh, I was supposed to jump for that, huh? Let's move. We do love a cool grind. But it's automated. Automate these nuts. Got him. I know, I think it's just cool to let Sonic, like, watch him do a cool thing sometimes. Is that allowed? I think it's allowed. Oh, wow, I got bullied there. I got fucked up. I mean, hey, it's not doing nothing. I'm getting points. Thank you for awarding me for performing basic actions, game. Could never have done it without you. Let's go. Let's hover it up. Up and down and all around. As a famous person once said. I forget if there's more to hover for here. I don't think so, though. What is this? Here we go. Let's see what this one is. Spikes! No, go the way. There we go. Ah, shit, no. Stupid maze. There we go. Think it's safe to just, like, land here? Well, safe enough. Hey, it's this thing! Except now the level keeps going. There you can see some of the reused assets. Gotta hit the rings for extra points there. And the big old tower. This is kind of a famous bit of the level. Although part of that fame is a bit of infamy for the sort of tedious way they expanded on it in Sonic Generations. That level was a bit much. And it's partially because, like, the wisps just give you more going on here. Like, they let you do... Like, you take big, like, paths like that. And then I can grab the spike one here. Jokes about it aside, I actually like how when you come out of a wisp like the hover, you keep momentum from it, which allows you to gain some height like I did there. There we go. Yeah, I love that big shortcut in that level. Some time bonus? Ring bonus? Yeah! Now we're doing it. By the way, obviously you can like move Sonic around here, but after you do it for a little bit, he does a little dance. Yeah! Now for a boss. This one should look familiar. So I think this gives one of Sonic's more famous lines from this game as well. This cutscene, or maybe the next one.
There's the generator. Seems like these guys are getting harder and harder to find. I know for a fact these guys are getting harder and harder to beat.
Eh.
Please remember, all planets in Eggman's incredible interstellar amusement park are, as far as you know, wholly owned properties of Eggman Enterprises
As far as
and
you
its
know.
subsidiaries. All unauthorized photography, video reproduction, or shutting down of generators is strictly prohibited. Thank you.
Eggman, I am going to save this planet, and I am going to free these aliens. No copyright law in the universe is going to stop me.
Classic.
Save a lot of time and broken robots if you just quit now.
That is a line that gets a lot of use over the years.
You try to be reasonable.
I do like the music for or these like big wheel fights. Good if you have to actually wait for it to open up again to hit with spikes or whatever. Alright, there's an easier way to do this. Let's get down here, spin dash up. And shit. I wanna do this fight better. You can this boss in particular you can kill like crazy fast, just like the first one. There we go. So can I just kind of... No. I was hoping I could just kind of slam it twice before it does this, but I think it has to do it at least once. Oh wait, I think I can hit its hands or something? No, that's not how this works. The remix this song got in Colors Ultimate was actually really good. I remember they released it before like the game, before it got released, before the game came out. I mean, they didn't release the song before it got released. That would have been very difficult. Yeah, I want to play it at some point. I mean, like, hey, some of the new gameplay changes sound kind of neat, and I actually do like a lot of the remix soundtrack, but it wasn't a priority, so I'm just playing the original, because like I said, this is what I have. But it would be nice to play this game at 60 frames per second. There is a hack to play or rather a code to play this version at 60, but it causes some issues here and there, and I didn't want to have to deal with, like, resetting it, turning it off, and then, turning it back on. Yeah, it got remix music. One interesting thing they did is that there's 6 acts per zone, and they remixed each act theme, but there's three act themes per zone. So they used the original once and the remix once, so now every act has a unique song.
Can't hear you.
Maybe. That's between me and the robot. The important thing here is the alien
Sonic, you
planet is
dweeb.
free.
Absolutely.
So, we can just forget about the whole talking to dead robots thing, right?
Nope.
I knew you'd say that.
Come on. I've seen you save the day a lot of times, but I've never seen you talk to a pile of metal.
Touche.
Owned.
Next stop.
That just leaves. I made the Plant Wisp songs DLC. I feel like that's a joke I'm not getting. Is this specific tube that fucks up? If you're at 60 frames per second, by the way, you just get stuck in it for a bit. It's weird. Yeah. Oh, I know what you have to do there. Do that. Then air boost. They really were just DLC? That's fucking weird. Why? For what purpose? So I go, what's your issue? Hopefully they reconsider that if they get it out on Steam instead of, you know, Epic. Whatever, would have been fine. You know the funny thing is, that box that I like charged up and then like pushed with a kick. That's kind of just like I wonder if that was anywhere in Sonic Unleashed. And the reason I say that is because that particular boxing interaction is in God of War, and Sonic Unleashed took a zillion things from that to make its Werehog. Oh yeah, Drill. Anyway, Drill lets you make Sonic water levels good. Well, apart from the music gets a little repetitive. And I believe it's this one that has the red ring? Ah, nope, I'm wrong. Can I make it back? Yes, I can. That'll be the top one then. Yes. No. But even when you're not drilled, you can just jump infinitely underwater, which, like, that's cool. Well, that was exciting. I was not expecting to bounce off that wall like that. Going up. For my money, the Aquarium Park songs are just the prettiest tracks in the game. Not my favorite, but the prettiest. I mean, Planet Wisp is nice too, but the vibes here are impeccable. Die. Also, I like the samurai egg pawns. Oh, there's one guy. Hey, you did that trick on Unleashed. Can I do this? Not hit that box, but yeah. There we go. Another level that really shows off this is a nice looking game. And quickly into another weird little challenge level. All about these spinning platforms and the cube. Is it about my cube? You have 30 minutes to move your cube. can I make that? Not even close, baby. Is there another cube I can grab? Nope. I want to just kind of... This is a level I can probably get in one go if I do it right, apart from maybe the S rank. But hey, that could happen. So... Cube it up. Boom. Good enough for me. Bit of actual platforming. I know that's very scary. But it must be done. Oh lord. Alright, I forgot they're kind of all around different routes in that level anyway. Oh well. I'll work on that some other time. Was there another gimmick level next? I know Planet Wisp has the other funny yellow bouncy spring platform level. Yeah, like, why have this interconnected map if you always have to beat the levels in order anyway? That's what baffles me about this game. And, like, the thing about, like, originally those gimmick levels being optional, I think that's probably how it worked. You probably had to do, like, a main path of levels, and then the others would branch off from those. Yeah, and that's just a guess, though. Rocket. Alright. Come on. Well, fuck that up. I can actually try again, though. Because I also fucked that up. Alright. There we go. Oh, it's a slide there. For some reason I read that as stoppable blocks, but that's just what the level looks like. Let's stay up here, actually. How do you get up there again? I think you need like a wisp for that. Yeah, we will rocket. This. That's one way to do it. Possibly not an intended one, considering the things that are happening here. Oh, I remember now. You're supposed to get to the next section. Oh well. Next time. Oh yeah, I keep forgetting you can't use Frenzy while jumping, so you end up doing that. Doesn't activate until you hit the ground. Probably to prevent some weird interaction that I didn't think of. I love how this gets drawn on if it starts like attracting rings to it. Guess that's why the 3DS equivalent was the Void. Which was just a straight up black hole. Slam! Damn, with all the bonuses, that was enough for A rank, for S rank rather. Looked like it was what, 2 million for that maybe. Act 4, which one was this? Is this the one with something to the left? Yeah, it is. The old Kirby trick. Every Kirby game has just like one secret that's like, hey, go backwards at the start of this area. Because fuck you, I guess. I think it's pretty funny. Can you go? Nah, it's blocked off. And yeah, I think this is literally the ending area of Act 1, so I think this is one of those they were originally supposed to be one act kind of levels. Just a guess, though. Oops, something up there. Oh well, I missed it. Whew. Oops. Let's do a bit of this. See if I can aim this just right. Wow, I did it completely wrong. What do you expect? There we go. That was the wrong button. Meant to do a bit more of that. I don't know. I'm sure there's another path. I think that one might just begin to get a couple rings anyway. Stomp! Tubes. Get under there. Thank you. I've got a laser now. I know how I'm supposed to deal with it, but I'm sure it'll be funny. Right, here we go. This will take me somewhere. Where? I don't know. Where'd the cheese go? I don't know. Oh, there's a different path in now. There you die. Keep jamming. Bonk. Hey, those shark missiles came back. Those are from Hydro City. It was neat seeing those again. Like, that's not like one of the more famous bad kind of enemies compared to like, you know, all the buzz bombers and all that are mortal bugs, but they fit here. There we go. And idiots. Oh god, I have no boost for this. Please give me some boost. Okay, so this section is really weird because like you have to run away from this thing, but the only way to dodge that in this section is by boosting. So if you're out of boost, you're just kind of hit by it. Now, granted, if you get far enough ahead, it won't swing at all. So that's another reason to boost. What's weird is that this enemy shows up in one more level later, and at that level, you can actually jump its swings, but they just don't let you jump here. I guess it's because you'd fall off the wall. Pretty sure that level's not particularly like horizontal either, so let's not think about it too much. and then it hits the ground and dies. Anyway, if this was like the same level as Act 1, like that's the way that part near the beginning implies, that would be a cool level, not gonna lie. Just like a nice big fat level. Also, I like how these result screens are underwater so you can do all the funny jumps. Like this. Bye. I think there's a ceiling up there, but still. Assuming this is another smaller level. Yep. Yeah, here we go. Everyone's best friend. This fucking thing. I do think it would be really, really funny if this thing showed up in Frontiers somehow. There we go. Oh, whew. Don't scare me like that, game. There we go. There we go. Boom, boom, boom. I'm handling this better than I thought. I like this remix, the way it kind of cranks up the speed of that melody. And yeah, this is the part that gets a little tedious, because you can't speed this up at all, you just gotta climb. At least the bomb gimmick's an actual thing. Yeah, so this is like, oh, this should be the last segment. You can literally hear the goal ring, which is how you know we're so close. Oops. I like how the cannons that, like, shoot at you there just blatantly don't exist. You get to the top and there's nothing. Not enough? Oh, well. Got all the red rings, at least. Yeah, here's the last one. This one's like, if I remember properly, a more level-ish level than the gimmick ones, even though it starts in 2D. It's, I think it's on the bigger side. Also, these fish around me act as a shield. It's a weird little mechanic that shows up in this game. They take one hit for you. It's funny, this game, like, after a good while, brought back underwater segments to 3D Sonic, except, you're never actually underwater in 3D. All the underwater sections are 2D. Just a little oddity about this game. Sonic's always a little odd, though, so... you expect oddities at some point. I always forget how to really navigate this level. There's a lot of ways through it. Pranked. But it's nice that there's, you know, as they say, multiple paths. It's not overly linear. I forget how the hell you get in there. Slip on under. There we go. At least I grabbed that. Anything over here? Oh, there's a level over here. That's what. That's an anything. And some fish. No. I did what I can. Just get out of here. I also like this little pool there. And yeah, we go back in 3D now. This is, yeah, this one's the full level. And I've definitely boosted off the cliff the first time I played. I was like, oh, there's pits in here now. But, yeah. But yeah, my guess is that, like, Act 1 and Act 4 together were like an Act 1, and then this was like an Act 2. With 2, 3, and 5 being, like, extra levels. Is that really only the second one? Oh yeah, because the third one you have to actually come at from the other path. Yeah, I don't think you can actually get that one unless you do the other path. I always find it a little annoying when you can't get all the red rings in one run. I prefer when you can. Even if you have to do a little finagling. Now this room is Sonic Unleashed as hell, right down to like the screaming missiles following you around. Except this time, crabs are shooting the missiles, which I think is fun. Any of you left? Just three. Oh. I have never seen that eel before in my life. What the fuck was that? Like, what is this, Super Mario 64? When the fuck did that get there? Oh, there's a drill up here. Hell yes. Party time. A fish in a school shaped like a fish. New eel just dropped, apparently. Okay. Oh yeah, I think I remember now. Now that I see one over here, I remember it, but I never saw one come up behind me like that. That was fucking weird. Uncanny, even. Can I get out of here now? Yeah, that is kind of the same thing, isn't it? Alright. So can I get out of here now? Yeah, I totally forgot about those eels. I like how they're not even robots, they're just, what the fuck are these? Like, I guess since Eggman, you know, stole a bunch of ocean, possibly from space. It makes sense that there's just weird-ass animals hanging around, but, oof. Dangerous stuff. Generator and another boss.
Man, running past all those fish put me in the mood for sushi. I doubt Eggman had the decency to put a good sushi joint in this park.
Remember, ladies and gentlemen, try the newest dining experience here at Eggman's incredible interstellar amusement park, the Bucket of Sushi. Now with fish.
Like I was saying.
Now with fish.
Hey, did somebody here order a clobbering? Are you sure? It says somebody ordered an extra large clobbering topped with everything.
Sonic, you are such a dork. I love you.
Okay. Tell you what, I can't take this thing back, so I'll give you an extra large clobbering for nothing. Hope you're hungry.
He is really just trying out lines on robots that are not saying anything back. He's trying so hard. Alright, these freaking missiles. Now I can pop these things and give me some goodies. I think the white ones are gonna give me a wisp, but... Yeah, okay. Got drill. Gotta use that on the boss, though. There we go. Hit the lever. The part with drill here is a little more interesting than it was the first time around, because you're underwater, which means, of course, the boss is around, but you gotta like actually chase it down because it swims through the water too, instead of just standing there. So A little more interesting. A little more difficult, too. Got him! Ah, got him. GG's. With drill, you do that twice. The wisp attacks usually do more damage. I'm not sure how many times you'd have to do it if you were just doing normal attacks. Or how many times you'd have to hit it, rather. Keep an eye out for the white missile. Just rings. Must be the next one, then. I think one spawns around here. Yeah, there we go. Hey, he was going for that. Jerk. Jerkules. Honey, you mean Hunkules. Something dropped a drill wisp, so. Oh yeah, I have to actually get missiles through this little gauntlet. Maybe if I'm lucky I can get one of these things to hit a bubble and grab me a ring, too. Doesn't look like it. Oh well. High stakes, then. Just don't get hit. Don't get hit! Just don't get hit! Oh, that's right, exactly. Get over here. I think activating drill like actually brings him here for faster. There we go. Dead as hell. Alright, so. And we're done with that. So it's down.
Great job, Sonic.
You know me. I aim to please.
Well, I'm totally pleased. And a little nauseous. I grabbed a bite at the bucket of sushi.
What's the verdict?
His cruelty knows no bounds.
I actually think that's funny, I'm sorry.
Next stop, the aquarium. Next stop, the asteroid coaster.
Asteroid Coaster. This song's so good. There's a really funny thing in this level, by the way. That it's more funny with the context of Sonic Colors Ultimate, but I'll show you in this to make it clear what I'm talking about. Yeah. Love nailing that home attack. Get that. There we go. Boom, boom, boom. That's not how you do that. I do like this because, like, I think part of the reason I like the music in this level is because, like, this game's got more variety than some Sonic games, so it's nice to have, like, a bit that takes you back to the rock of, like, the adventure games and the like. It just got really good melodies, too. Yeah. Let's not worry about that boost right there. Going back up. Whoops. Also, I love how those just push you. Those kill you by pushing you out of 2D space. I think that's really funny. They first showed up in Unleashed, but they're here too. Honestly, I remember when I was a kid, one reason I was excited for this game in particular is because I didn't have a PS3 or a 360. I only had a Wii, so I kind of felt this was going to be like kind of my taste of the HD versions of Unleashed, since it's more like those than it is the Dimps made one that they got on Wii. And at the time, I thought that would be better. Nowadays, DMC's Unleashed has some pretty cool stuff going on too. Yeah, I think it's a very precise jump that lets you like skip this little bit. You can at least do that. Anyway, watch this. Look at how slowly Sonic runs going up that hill. He kind of loses a bunch of speed there. It's kind of just a little oddity within this game, and that kind of became notable. Even if you boost there, you won't go super fast. Although, basically in Sonic Colors Ultimate, they decided to actually fix that. You go faster over it. Except you go way faster. If you boost over it, you just rocket up the whole thing for like no reason. It's so funny. Eat 'em up, eat 'em up. Reese's Puffs, Reese's Puffs. Eat 'em up, eat 'em up, eat 'em up, eat 'em up. No, no. Get the thingy. Thank you for getting the thingy. And then we're in here. I didn't hear the whole announcement, but I know that's the one that ends with "Send any complaints to the creator of space." Thank you. The 2D segments in this like kind of mazy area do get a little, well, mazy. They hide stuff all over the place and use they use the gravity changing to a lot of effect. Boom, boom, boom. Let's hide down here. That's one way to do it. Be patient. Try and rush these, you'll get yourself killed. It is a little sad because I like going fast because it's Sonic, but... And here we are. 5 Broder Rings. And no DJ. Ooh, nice. Didn't expect the time bonus to be that much, but I guess it's a good time for this level, scoring-wise. But yeah, this is one stream, only been close to 3 hours, and we're already just about at the end of the game. So this level's weird. It's another maze in this area, but set up really weirdly. Because of that, there's some weird skips you can do, but I'm just gonna play it something intentionally as... Oh, right, I totally forgot there's one more section with this thing. It's not the whole level, though, it's just this section, which I find interesting. It's interesting, usually this game lets you, like... Usually this game just sets one gimmick for the whole level, but... Here, just use this here. I think I want spikes. Because you can do this. You can obviously do this either way. Yeah, definitely want it here. And this. Keep rolling. Just like Limp Bizkit taught me. Oops, not like that. Grab another one of these. The thing about the spike is that, unlike regular Sonic wall running controls, these will actually make you go in the direction you're moving on the screen, with being not relative to, the direction you were facing beforehand. So, it's a little weird getting used to. If you have to, like, really change directions once you get on walls to do it most easily. There. No. And also sometimes you just kind of get caught on stuff funny. It's an odd thing. But it's trying. So just go around here. I forget where that other red ring is, and I don't care that much. Money in the bank. Alright. See you later. Anyway, I want to check something in the Sonic Simulator. Got 90 out of 180, and I want to know how many levels that unlocks. Let's see. Okay, so that... Alright, so I think you do have to get just about all of them to get... Because there's 2 more here. There's how many are there? 7? That's 12. After that, 13, 14. Yeah, it's 21 in total, and I have 12, which is a little over half when I have half the red rings, but they might slow down on how many you get per red rings collection later, so you might need them all. Not like it's super hard to get them, I think. This is a weird level. Gimmick level, but not one with wisps. Nor is it 2D. Instead it's this. One thing that's neat about it, though, is that, obviously you can beat the hell out of these things. But if you kill the big one, it kills the rest, and it gives you a cool little ding. Now, the trick of this level, at some point there's a switch you can press that lets you actually beat the level. First. Oh, the switch is on the right there. I missed it. Gotta go around the horn again. You can at least farm a lot of points. Ah, it was on the horn. Okay, I gotta stay on the right on the outside. I keep missing it. The only thing, one thing about this game they did that's kind of smart is that if you stay too long in a level, whoops, under the score display it'll just say time's up, and then you don't get to, you know, then you just can't get any more points in it. So you can't just like farm for an S rank. Granted, you could do that in this level anyway, because that's kind of weird. That's Act 4, Act 5, and Act 6. Oh, right. Forgot they throw a cutscene in here.
What is this place? Whoa. This is where he converts them into the strange, negative aliens with the freaky energy.
Oh, there you are. I thought I lost you for a second. Did you find anything interesting? Look at all of them. He's captured thousands of aliens.
Don't worry. We'll get them out.
Sonic, I haven't seen Yacker for a while.
You'll have to excuse me, buddy. I have a generator to shut down.
You know, as much as these games are, you know, mostly comedic in writing, it's kind of neat that even Sonic's willing to get a little serious by the end of the game. Means the game isn't completely devoid of stakes. Which, like, it's like enough for the kind of game it is. One more weirdo 2D level. And one more appearance of these things. For those of us who like waiting around, which is, well, I'll let you know if I find them, is all I'll say. How do you get up there again? I forget if there's a different path or if I was just supposed to jump good. Oh wait, I remember Why did I do that? Can I turn this off, please? I made a mistake. Alright. That doesn't last too long if you don't keep getting them and destroy a bunch of stuff, so. Alright. That's why I say, hey man, nice shot. Let's get hungry. Alright, yeah. I don't know. Yeah, so. So now, we've really got only one normal level left in the game. And Asteroid Coaster Act 6, which is a larger, like, proper stage. It's actually a very good one. Start with the roller coaster ride. But this time amped up. Like how big this section is, like, it's basically like kind of like a rail section that the rest of the game has, but it's got its own style to it because the roller coaster thing just look cool. But yeah, you can still switch between them and jump up here. I totally forgot which path actually has a red ring on it, though. Might be this one? Also, your jump kind of follows the trains in this in kind of a weird way. Yeah, I'm pretty sure one of those paths has a red ring on it. Yeah, this level just feels pretty final, which I think is neat. They got good music for it too. Here you gotta be careful not to be pushed so far with the water current, not to get the spikes. Yeah, I missed the red ring in the beginning. There we go. Oops, wrong button. Right, and then what's the next? Right, the skydive here. Yeah, and then this part where everything just starts shooting at you. Oh wait, no. Back up, back it up, buddy. Whoa! Didn't know you could actually slip off there. Whoops. Let's do this right. And maybe take a different path than the roller coaster. See if I can find that red ring. I'll still take this path. I think that's what I want. But then I stay on this. Jump here. It's down there. How do I get down there? Oh, I think it's got to take like one of the lower rails after this, because and then we'll launch it. You'll get launched through those rainbow rings. Yeah, I think if I stay on this at first, I'll probably be the wrong track. Go here, dip down here, jump on out. And that still puts me here, but I think this is it. Let's see. Yeah, this is the track next to the one I was doing before. Yeah, this should be it. Nice. That feels good. Alright. 69. Nice. What's this? Swing. I just realized you don't actually get an extra life at 100 ranks in this game. How odd. What's funny is that that was something that was complained about in Lost World, and then they actually patched it so it did. But like, it was the same in this game, but people didn't complain because this game was good. Stupid caterpillars are actually really annoying. I feel like that's kind of a common issue with Sonic fans. They'll just... I mean, gamers in general, but it happens a lot with Sonic fans. Well, but once a game is quote-unquote bad, everything about it is just wrong and bad. And even if, like, the same thing was in another game and not bad. Oh, there's the red ring right up there. Whew, almost missed that. It's in those boxes. Let's go straight this time. See if we can see here. There we go. Eat him up, eat him up. Gets that to unfrenzy. Gets that. Boom, boom. I think here is another one of those rare mandatory wisp things. You have to get Frenzy to bust these pipes. Another bit of skydiving. Last red rings around here. Yeah, here we go. Now then. Now for something a bit unique in this game. Is that right here, or is there just like a little bit? Yep, here it is. A mid-boss in a level. Gotta hit this eyeball-looking thing 3 times as it sucks you into this gravity vortex. It's just a matter of timing your homing attacks to get through those barriers, so it's not like it's anything too crazy, but it's neat that it's here. And it gets faster as you do it. Huh. Never seen that happen before. Usually this just works fine. Please don't kill me. That would be really depressing. There we go. And then I like these doors at the end. Like, they're just there for visual effect, but it makes it look like you're really hitting the inner sanctum. Anyway, gonna run a quick ad and then we'll hit the finale of this game. I like the music on these map screens. Cool tracks that you don't usually hear much of. Oh, I got a lot of songs there. Asteroid Coaster. I do like this level, so I guess it makes sense. I know how to do a lot of it. Alright. Hopefully everyone's back in business. Face down the boss of Asteroid Coaster, and then the final bosses of the game. Or final boss.
You know, I don't like what you're doing to my friends in there. It's messed up. so I'm gonna mess you up. Yeah, that's right. Keep stretching. You got a problem with that? I want to be able to fully enjoy taking you apart without some pulled muscle slowing me down. Okay, now I'm ready. Of course, if you want to run away, please feel free. There's no shame in it. Well, maybe a little shame.
Sonic loves hearing himself talk in this game.
You guys don't talk much, do you? Fair enough. Don't say I didn't warn you.
That's it. Honestly, I think it's just kind of a funny character trait. Bit of... I think it's more that he just doesn't like the silence. Right. You can break the friggin' headlights on this thing. After the stretch, and just gets a cramp. This is probably the fight that's like most relevantly changed for the first one. It's got like new attacks like that going on, and plus you're just, I think, more likely to deal with more phases because of the way it's set up. Though I think that's also because I kind of hit certain parts that maybe I shouldn't have. Gotta get them quick step bonuses. Let's take the gun. I'm down. You can only use rockets in 2D, so you end up having to... things. Oops. But I accidentally hit that button, so there it goes. Oops, screwed that up big time. Hopefully it can drop another rocket. Man, no luck. I'm gonna restart that, try and do it properly. See, this boss is actually like weirdly complex in like how its health works with all the different parts. There's like really no reason it should be that way, but like how much like busting up the engine versus the lights matters, and like whether you actually break apart matters. It's why the like speedrun route for it is actually very specific. Oops. And you definitely don't do that. But I was a little scared to be that close with no rings. But it does mean that you can do this. Big damage. It's mad now though. Maybe we can bait it over here. No. See if I can actually get this other engine. I can hit the main body. I think that's pretty good for damage too. I like the music for this fight. Very energetic. Driving. Kind of thing to do when you're running like this. Good thing I know how to play shoot-em-ups. It's all aimed, idiot. Just stream it, idiot. Wow, like one of those managed to actually be near enough to the ground to hit me. So can I hit that engine now? No. Even better. Guess I'll go for the headlight. Why do you have those in a box? Where are you shipping those? I'll hit the main body then. One more phase, I believe? Yeah. I think I have to dodge the bullets first. Ah, damn it. The problem with running fights like this is that it's easy to just run out of rings. Alright, I can homing attack it here, but can't actually hit its underside here, which is a bit of a pain. Please let this thing drop some brains. It does. I'll take out this gun. Alright, that was enough. Yeah, see, that's the weird thing. You end up, like, kind of killing it in odd ways. The way its health is, like... It's weird how complicated this boss fight is compared to a lot of the fights in this or other Sonic games. Like, obviously what you do isn't too bad. It's just dodge attacks, get close, hit it, use the Wisp if you get the opportunity, but... There's a lot of things going on with actually hurting it. That's one more generator shut down.
That was almost difficult.
Sonic, you did it!
Couldn't have done it without you, buddy.
Thanks. Hey, we both deserve
What did you even
some
do?
kind of reward.
Yeah, let's go to an amusement park or something.
All right, but one that's, you know, less evil than this one.
It wasn't that funny.
So, are all the aliens getting free?
Looks like it. Once the power went off, the locks vanished.
Hello, performance.
Hope Yakker's okay.
I think you'll be fine. You don't think the weapon you were shot with still works?
Not without power flowing to it. I think we're all good.
That's what I like to hear.
I wonder if this cutscene can actually take place in the other zones if you do Asteroid Coaster before doing those. I always do Asteroid Coaster last because it's the last level, more or less, but I wonder. Anyway, we'll go to this. Yep, everything's fine. No more problems. We beat the game.
The tractor beam's gone. The planets are free.
Was there ever any doubt? I mean, really?
Excuse
Great
me.
job, buddy.
With all the generators destroyed, we can blow this joint and head home. We did it, dude.
Dude.
I don't remember you fighting off any insane robots.
True. Well, good job to you on inventing a translator that allows us to speak to the
I don't know why he's telling us
We
what
got
shape the
exactly what we
translator
needed
is.
to do so we weren't running around the park looking like idiots. Oh no, wait. That was me.
Good point. Either way, we can get out of this crazy place and go home.
See, I like that here, like, because it is just kind of them messing with each other. It's not like just a Lost World where Tails just kind of started being a dick for no reason.
I think we're in the middle of a party.
The middle? We are the party. I think we're the
Okay, where the hell's Yakker?
Totally.
Sonic starts spontaneously breakdancing. Alright, so everything's fine. Hey, what's this?
Next stop, critical system failure. Repeat, critical system. Ho, ho, ho! That fool Sonic thinks he's won because he destroyed all my generators. Well, the mind control cannon is full enough for what it has to do. I will have the last laugh!
The last laugh? How is laughing last special? Isn't that like being the slowest one to get the joke?
Yeah, I laugh last all the time. People look at me like I'm an idiot. Forget about it.
I think that's my favorite
Because
voice.
you are an idiot. You talking to me? Yes, I'm talking to you. There's nobody else.
I mean, there's one
here,
other
so I
robot.
must be talking to you. Why haven't we fixed your voice chip yet? Yo, quit busting my batteries over here. I've been working on it all day. What does that even mean?
I'm pretty sure they actually, basically, it's the closest anyone ever said to quit busting my balls in a Sonic game.
Thing on its mind.
What's that, boss?
Me.
Jeez, it's a good thing there isn't some weirdly placed plot device here. Alright. It's time for the only thing that actually bugs me about this game's story. Which is that the reason the canon doesn't, you know, actually mind control everyone on the planet is... Oh, you'll see in a sec. the reason is a brick joke from that cutscene where, like, the arm from the first boss ended up getting caught there. Like, I don't know, I kind of prefer it when the reason isn't something goes wrong for Eggman, it's specifically that Sonic goes and stops it there, instead of some weird coincidence. I mean, it still happened because Sonic beat a boss, but... Man, I do think it's really funny that it just can't stop fucking up the moon.
No, this can't be happening. It's backfiring. Impossible. How? Ta-da!
Yo, what do you mean impossible? Your plans have been crushed by Sonic for like, ever. He stopped you like it's his job or something. In fact, I can't remember a plan he didn't stop.
What are you talking about? He hasn't stopped all of them.
Name one.
Read the attention pad.
Thank you, buddy! Hey, my voice! It's back! Alright!
There's the sweet sound by auditory processors new and loved.
Now I remember why he changed his voice chip.
Your Honor, the robots are gay.
I may have suffered a setback.
I love that Eggman actually just built a pair of gay little robots to piss himself off.
Sonic.
Like, I feel like even in future games, Cubot was not that freaking shrill, though. They definitely knew that was annoying as hell and toned it down. Alright. Now for the actual last level, which is not quite a normal level, but it does have the best song in the game, in my opinion.
I got a bad feeling about this.
Good, so it's not just me.
When I feel the ground shaking under my feet and see plumes of dust rising and rubble tumbling and aliens running for their lives, yeah, I get a bad feeling. So, how about you and me make like Eggman's hairline and see?
This isn't joke time. This is running to the space elevator time.
Sorry, couldn't help myself. We're out of here.
Yeah, we're running now.
Terminal Velocity. This is the single best song in the game, in my opinion. Come on. Love the horns, like the big horn section come in to stab with like. So good. This level is mostly just a quick, basically a quick stepping kind of thing. Though you do have to jump a couple times, like here, or I could just miss somehow not jump high enough. Luckily, it doesn't really penalize you for it. But here it will, though. Keep it up. One more section with these guys. It's weird. Look at the like kind of big robots that are kind of following in your above here. You never fight those. Like those only show up in like the background of Terminal Velocity here on the map screen. Isn't that weird? I wonder if they were ever planned to show up because they remind me of like some of the bigger egg pawns in Heroes, but they're not the same design as any of them. But yeah, watch this. They actually let you jump this here, but they don't in Aquarium Park. Isn't that weird? Let's just gun it. Nice big lead now. Oops, forgot to jump there. And this last segment, they mix things up a bit. So you can fuck things up like that in a very exciting way. Also, this level I'm pretty sure has no checkpoints, so if you die, you should at least restart to get a proper time. I actually don't know if your speed here is fixed or if going forward, holding forward actually makes you go faster. I just don't know. Hi! Nice to see you. I love the way the music hits in this level. This is really my favorite song in the game. It's neat that, and I guess that's why I saved it for the last level. Yeah, some of these guys drop a wisp, but they only drop a little bit of boost energy. But it's worth slamming them around for that. You get some freebies there too. Yeah, this game is, look, it's 12 years old now, or just about. It probably came out sometime in November, so if it's not 12 now, it'll probably turn it a bit. Out of here. The cool part about this is that if you boost enough, you can actually just outrun the lasers instead of having to dodge them, but obviously you only have so much boost, and if you lose speed, then you'll get zapped. But it's helpful because it's hard to keep up with where they're spawning if they're off screen. No rings though, so no bonus there. Yeah, see? Look at these big, like, knight-looking robots. You never fight those in this game. They only show up in, like, here, and, like, you can see them falling through the air as you're running down. I wonder if they're going to show up somewhere before that. Because, like, you can tell in, like, actual terminal velocity when they fall across the screen, they're bigger than regular egg pawns, so... I guess they consider that, but ultimately they kind of... Since they didn't really want to focus on combat, they figured they couldn't work them in very well.
Time to bail!
Yep.
It can't be!
Leaving so soon? There are no lines, and I've saved the best rides for last. At least let me stab your hand so you can come back in.
I know you're trying to be clever with this whole amusement park pun thing, but it's just coming off lame.
You're one to talk. Your jokes have been lame all game.
To destroy us and stop embarrassing yourself.
Curse you, Sonic! Not only do you foil my plans, but you foil my speeches as well. I work hard on them. No matter. I will destroy you, and I will be victorious.
Unused animations, huh? I'd like to see those.
Is that better?
Like a million times better. Thank you.
This robot is special. He's powered by the energy from your little friends. He is invincible. So I'd say it's been nice knowing you, but it hasn't.
I have to admit I'm a little scared.
Come on,
I
Tails.
don't think we can beat this guy.
See you on the ground, buddy.
Sonic, no!
I do like this, though.
Just got one last thing to do.
The Sonic is probably not sure if he can get back from this, so at least know that Tails will reach Earth. Or whatever your planet is this time. This is quite the classic boss fight. It feels a little scripted and then you kind of just dodge the attacks and then hit it when it says so, but it's dramatic, got a variety of attacks, it's fun to do. It's a good thing they didn't just completely remake it in Sonic Lost World and then use some significant parts of it in Sonic Forces, right? Oh, wait. I also like seeing the wisps come back as you hit it. Not to mention the music, very dramatic, but it's the second phase that everyone remembers. The second part of the song, I mean. And I do like the slow-mo bit. It's cool. Especially since it gives you a good look at Eggman, which you don't always get during boss fights. Yeah, this is the song everyone remembers. The shifts in the orchestral version of Reach for the Stars. Those lasers get fast at the end. That.
You horrid little hedgehog!
The time?
Unlimited colors. Laser, drill, blink, rocket, you, hammer, frenzy. Final color.
And that's pretty satisfying. Plays pretty easy though, at least once you know it. Didn't take a hit. I think this should probably be S rank worthy. Yay. Yep. Got plenty of wings. Yeah.
Who turned out the lights?
At Eggman's incredible interstellar amusement park, you can feel comfortable knowing your safety is our number one.
We're gonna PA getting sucked into the vortex. Yeesh. Must have taken a hell of a long time to render that. Well, luckily, the amusement park is destroyed. Now, Sonic's getting out of there, right? Well,
This might not end well.
yeah, he'll be fine. Of course, that leaves Terminal Velocity Act 2. Which isn't actually too big of a level in terms of, having level stuff, but hey. Got one more. It's got a remix. Also, I don't think this level is actually ranked, but maybe. There's more of those night guys getting sucked away. Those guys we never fought. I wonder if they want more level in Terminal Velocity. And that's where they would have showed up. Who knows? Alright, thank goodness. I'd forgotten how Sonic got out of this, but of course it's the Wisps. Finally free.
Sonic, are you okay? Man, I can't believe you made it through that.
Like you thought I wouldn't?
The only thing I was thinking about was getting pushed into an elevator.
Well, a hedgehog's gotta do what a hedgehog's gotta do.
Great job, Sonic.
Yeah.
Thanks. But I had a little help during that last part.
I was thinking about that for a bit. So you can see the ones that the Frenzy Wisps getting turned back into regular ones, since they became those negative ones after having their energy used and all that. But then, like,
He said,
Frenzy and Void show up in later games anyway.
You're welcome.
Void more often,
Thank
actually.
you
But
for saving us.
he says,
yeah, this is the thing I was thinking of. Oh, where there's a hexadecimal screen.
yep, I finally got
I'm pretty sure if you actually translate the hexadecimal or like shift it to words, it literally just says, if you can read this, you're a nerd. Which, like, fair.
Oh, great. He says, goodbye, my friends, I have to go. Just when I got this thing working.
Better late than never, buddy.
And there the wisps go. Never to be seen again. Never to be seen again, right? So yes, yeah. Despite them seeming to all return to their home planets and everything, the Wisps do return in future games. I think they do, like, kind of retcon to say some of them decided to hang out on Sonic's world because, you know, Sonic and friends seem nice, which is a fair explanation, honestly. Also, I love this credits theme so much. Project Sonic Colors. You know, I wonder if this game's code name was always Sonic Colors and they just decided it's a good name, because, like, I know that some of the games had, like, working titles, like... Oh yeah, they did actually explain it, and it was in Sonic Runners, the now dead mobile game. I knew I'd heard that somewhere, but it's interesting that it did show up somewhere official, even if, again... And you can break a bunch of letters for one of it. Anyway, I think Sonic Colors is still really fun. Like, it's a game that gets complained about by Sonic fans more, and sometimes other people. I meant to face the other way. But I think it's just a fun time that feels good. A feel-good game. And this song is, like, something that really kind of gives that feeling. And also, I think it was what the Sonic series needed at the time. A mostly unequivocal win for it. A game that was generally well received. And as much as people now got tired of, like, the tone it set up, the series needed it at the time. It really just needed that change of image out of, like, the kind of stuff that was in, like, the other games. Previous 3D games. And altogether, I think they pulled it off pretty well. And then this was followed up with Generations, just the next year, for a 1-2 punch of just a really solid time for Sonic that made everyone believe in the franchise's future for once, as well as celebrating its past. And then they made Sonic Lost World. Rocket. Black to the Star. I always love seeing, like, the orchestra members credited in games. Seems like, obviously, they need to be, but still. Something you don't always think of when it comes to making games. Like, not just composers, but people gotta perform these things, too. Especially in any game with, like, full orchestra tracks. It's gonna involve a lot of people just on that. Honestly, Sonic Lost World is wild because it's just like they somehow ended up getting to a Nintendo exclusive deal at a time where they had to make at a time where Nintendo's home console was the fucking Wii U, and somehow they went from Sonic's in a really good shape with colors and generations to what if we fucking rebooted it? I guess with Boom, and then we all know how that turned out. But with Sonic Colors, we don't have... As much as I liked going into the history of how the Sonic franchise was being received from the perspective of someone who was a fan at the time, though obviously a much younger one, you don't have to look at it like that. You can just look at Sonic Colors as a game, and even if you don't end up liking the writing and cutscene, you're getting a fun game that feels good to play, has good music. I think it's worth it. I think it's worth a play. Hey, our guys at Marza. Sonic Colors is just fun. Just a fun game that makes it feel good to play, I think. Or it makes me feel good anyway. It's got like that feel-good vibe, kind of like Sonic Heroes, except it's actually fun, so you get to feel good while you're playing it instead of just while listening to the music and not playing it. Why would you use this here? I sure do. Anyway, this kind of makes for a pretty full stream in on itself. It's been out 3.5 hours. So maybe I'll do a couple of the Sonic Simulator levels just to give a better look at what they're like. I'll do a couple of those and then like, hey, call it a night. I like how voice production is Studiopolis Inc. That's where that's like where the name of the zone in Mania came from. The credits for the list has all of them in a row. What'd that leave me with? Frenzy. Can I at least get bigger from this? Sonic's cool. Still weak till Frontiers, and I am going to be streaming that at launch, and you know, playing a lot of it. So, if anyone's interested and doesn't feel like keeping spoilers and isn't worried about spoilers or something, come stop by. I hope to enjoy it, and I hope to see some folks there too. We got cubes. Who up playing with a cube? That's fair. I get the feeling I'll see that from a lot of folks, but hopefully some people will feel like showing up. But I do not blame you if you're gonna be playing it yourself. I mean, I'm gonna be playing it myself. How could I blame you for doing it, you know? So no offense taken, is what I'm saying. Holy shit, Europe. Let's get the orchestral theme, I believe. Yeah. Pretty long credits, so. Gotta go through these songs. It's funny that you can get a spike here, because it really just doesn't help you get them at all. Oh, it's like, I could be jumping like this anyway. In fact, it's probably better not to use it, so you can at least boost. Well, whatever. I don't think it actually like keeps track of anything you do here. I like credits mini games where like they tell you how much you did at the end, but I don't think this game does, but yeah. Will this thing get bigger if there's enough of these? Doesn't look like it, but the shame. One thing about this game, there's a couple of oddities in how, like, some of the wisps control. Well, I think the main one I can think of is that, like, when you're aiming laser, you, like, have to point the analog stick, but, like, after pressing the activation button, but, like, it doesn't go, like, from you pressing the button again or something, it goes just from, you know, letting go of the stick. And I think that's because of the fact that if you're playing with a Wii Remote and Nunchuck, this actually uses motion controls to aim that. Which is, you know, it is a Wii game after all. I'm not sure how many of the other, Actually, I don't think he uses motion controls to aim. I think he just... I don't remember. Never mind. I feel like it's at least a shake to activate them, though. Something weird like that. I don't know. Again, it was Wii times. People were just doing shit. Credits, those go. Well, everyone's got to get their name. We're on special thanks, so. PhysX. Can't break that logo. NVIDIA paid too much for it. Or something. Wait for the stars. Alright, gotta credit the music. Our guys at Cash Cash. This and Cash Cash were around members of them at least had like kind of a presence on both this and Generations for some reason. I'm curious what that decision was for. Not that I'm complaining, it's just like I'm curious what led them to Sonic and Sega. What I'm particularly curious about is how they found the vocalist for I'm Here, the main theme of Sonic Frontiers, because that vocalist, they are in a band, but it's not a very well-known one, as far as I know. It's not a particularly big metal band, they only have one album out. I'm curious about how Sega came across them. I wish I remembered their name. It is kind of interesting with Sonic Frontiers because, like, I'm Here is the main theme, and obviously they've got, that, and like I said, it's not a very well-known, singer on it or anything. But then for their ending thing, they just straight up licensed a song from One OK Rock. Again, like, so obviously they have that. Sega. God, that remix is so good. You're so right. That remix is literally better than the entire game it's in.
like my own self. All I want to do is talk. Hey, remember when we were chasing those little alien guys? What's up with those things anyway? They sure were funny looking. Smell that though?
What I wouldn't give for the maddening silence of space right about now.
Sushi, hey, I heard they started using fish. Bummer we didn't bring any with us. Not that we can eat it since we're robots, but we could have looked at it. I love looking at.
Yeah, they did not make Cubot like this in any future game, for obvious reasons. Dude, we're stuck here until Sonic's next birth.
Sega.
And get yeeted back to the title. Like I said, I'm gonna check out a few of the simulator levels, then call it the stream. Thank you, Big. The spirit of Big the Cat carried us through that playthrough. Here we go. Let's just jump around and pick a few at random. I like the chiptune remix because of Terminal Velocity. Anyway, this is, I'm pretty sure, Starlight Zone's layout. Yep, we're based on it, rather. I still don't know what the hell this thing is. And it's kind of terrifying, though, so I want it gone. Like, I don't even know if it's giving me points or something. Yeah, there's just a number of just weird things and mechanics that just are not in the rest of the game here. I think it's kind of neat, personally. Oh, I just died, huh? Yeah, I got crushed there. Alright, let's try and take a less stupid path through that. Now, let's not open that, because I don't know what the hell it does. I think what I want to do is hit the button. Yeah, I want to go up here. I want to spin the slot machine. Hopefully I get something nice. Yeah, rings. Alright, have some rings at least. That's good. But yeah, it's interesting that, like, these weird, like, objects that aren't anywhere else in the game are also, like, not from the game where these level layouts are coming from. They're just kind of things. Some things they had lying around. Oh, there's a pit there, huh? I don't know why I'm bothering restarting. Like, I'm pretty sure there's no ranks for this anyway. Well, I'm restarting here because that's really stupid looking, but... Also, I dropped my mouse. Do not worry about it. It's fine. Going up. If we can get paid. Ooh, would you look? Rude. You get a 3 sep. You get 3 seconds and the game just kills you. Usually they leave the Eggman signs for that. Hey, what's this? Oh god, another one of these. But at least I can pick that up. I get some points. Nope. Oh, jeez. Are there checkpoints in this level? Shoot. But yeah, not all the Game Land stages are like based on Sonic 1 layouts. Just like a chunk of them are. I think maybe all the level 1s are, but I can't be sure. One of you better give me some rings. Weird there's just so few rings here. There we go. Okay, those do hurt you. Good to know. Guess I have to somehow do this. That's better. Okay, yeah, there's checkpoints. They just look like checkpoints. For some reason, I forgot it. That was a bit janky. Kind of odd that's set up like that. I can hear the end. I know it's near. So, like, let's actually do the platforming this time. They're just boosting and dying. There we go. There we go. Yeah, I only have this a number of level 2s. I can show off one more little aspect of it. Doing 1.5 player. Which is, if I remember properly, is just like it's basically a tag team, but I forgot the button you used to actually switch. Or maybe you need like a second controller too or something. Anyway, yeah, see, there's some sections of these that are actually 3D. For those wondering about that. And they mix some of those gimmicks in there. Yeah, I think this thing like actually lets you like switch control between two players. No, let's go. Let's get digging. Also, there's a different Wisp theme. They all use this kind of chiptune version of Reach for the Stars. So what's the non-drill loop growth for this look like? This. Bam. Boom. Boom. Bomb. Boom. Tough actin Tenactin. Grind section there. Well, I do actually like the way Sonic games tend to use like little quick automatic bits of Sonic just zooming around something as like transitions between sections of levels. It's clever. They're kind of like the launch stars in Super Mario Galaxy, or like some of the barrel launchers in Donkey Kong Country games. Oh, remind me not to boost there if I want to like. Wow, these can give you a lot. All right, yeah. Alright, so let's calm down a little bit. Actually, kind of hard to see there. There we go. Yeah, I think that's a good taste of the Sonic Simulator. So I'd say that's about like that's about a good place to stop, I think. So thank you all for coming. Next stream should be tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern. Follow, subscribe, do all your fun stuff, or whatever you feel like doing. And I will see you all later.